Welcome to Houston, where the tenor and the pitch of the Big 12 this season has been absolute chaos. More reminders today with Colorado and BYU getting tested, which means Baylor is still alive for a trip to the Big 12 championship game. Houston still playing for the postseason. They're going for the spoiler role tonight. We're so glad you're with us with Spencer Tillman, Connor Onion. Baylor has gotten the help it needs in the Big 12 today. They could still go to Arlington and play for a championship.
Well, some people call it mediocrity, parity, whatever you want to call it. It's competitive, and it looks really good on this conference. I think Baylor will have something to say, but let's keep it simple right now. They need Sawyer Robinson to step up. Their quarterback has really been the linchpin and brought him out of hibernation. He's got this offense for Jake Spavital playing at an elite level, and the thing that's going to set him off today is Bryson Washington, the running back. He wears number 30, but let me tell you, they got him slotted all the way down like 4 on the depth chart. That's more management. He is their number 1, Connor. This guy is unbelievable. He runs inside well, outside. He's got speed. He'll do it all. They need him to set the table for him.
Not only number 1 for them in the backfield, one of the best running backs in the country, Bryson Washington, the last couple of weeks. For Houston, they've got a chance to go to a bowl game. Year 1, Willie Fritz on the shoulders of their quarterback, Zion Chris.
Yeah, Zion has got to be the guy. We build him as kind of like a dual-threat quarterback, but you know he is a runner, and that's chief among him, his best asset. He's donning that Columbia blue, playing a little homage to the history of Houston, and he looks good in that uniform, but he's going to have to run better than that against this defense. They may be able to take some shots downfield, but he's not going to fool anyone, Connor. He's going to run first, and if he can be successful, steal some possessions away, they'll have a shot.
And he is a load to tackle,
yes,
Spence, at over 200 pounds. You know Dave Aranda's going to have something up his sleeve as a defensive genius as the play caller. Cougars, Bears coming up from Houston next. Well, Baylor into Houston tonight, still with a shot. 2 games to go to Arlington for the Big 12 championship game. Houston sitting on 4 wins. They win out, they can go to the postseason in year 1 with Willie Fritz. Well, Malcolm Epps of the UFL Houston Roughnecks out there for the coin toss tonight. The UFL be back in the spring of 2025 with the Roughnecks playing right here at the University of Houston.
Well, it's going to be exciting to watch them play. They've got some familiar faces. I know that one of the Phillips man is still a head coach as well, so it's going to be fun.
All right, Spence, let's look at our keys to the game. Sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Well, it's straightforward for me, partner. We talked about in the open, establishing the run for the Baylor Bears has got to be the key to unleash Jake Spavital's offense. He's got that air raid kind of spread concept going, but it gets unleashed if they can do that. And then Houston Cougars have got to steal possessions. That's one way that Willie Fritz has put his stamp on this revival project, and it has been outstanding. Everywhere he's been, he's built teams. Right now, it's about stealing possessions and getting their run game established.
And a bounce back chance for Willie Fritz in Houston tonight after they lost to Arizona last week. After they went through that great stretch, winning 3 out of 4 games, anchored by their defense.
And it has been kind of like a hot stock that gets kind of weak from time to time. It goes up and it comes down. That's just the nature of a rebuild, Connor. And Willie will talk at length about that. And he's frustrated at times, but he's pleased at other times. But he sure has navigated this team to a great spot.
Jack Martin kicks it away with Jamal Bell back deep. And he will not have a returnable ball to field, and here comes Baylor for the first time on offense. You're just talking about Jake Spavital's red-hot offense led by their quarterback, Sawyer Robertson.
And I think Sawyer's got command of it, partner, because of his pass right there with that 61% completion percentage is outstanding. He is steeped in the system. You go all the way back to the late Mike Leach. He had a couple of years under him, and he's familiar with the spread concept. So that ease comes across, and he's part of the reason why this offense has been brought out of hibernation.
It sure looked like some Mike Leach offense last week at West Virginia when he threw for a career high. And the win for the first time ever in Morgantown for the Baylor Bears. Opening snap of the night to Bryson Washington, the powerful running back for the Bears, as ahead for a 6-yard gain to open up the night. Let's meet that Baylor offense.
Well, the offense is entertaining, man. You look up front, Price is the guy, the centerpiece, number 72 to center. He will communicate. Barrington Campbell on the outside, and Bryson Washington at the running back position will be the guy that carries the load there. A lot of communication up front necessary to have success.
And Hershey McLaurin clobbers that play for a loss. Loss of 1 out to Ashton Hawkins, and here comes 3rd down.
Well, this is the one thing they want to do. This is a third and manageable. When you're in a high-powered offense, unlike the competitors tonight, the University of Houston, they need to be in 3rd and 1 or 2 to create a conflict. This guy right here is right at home at 3rd and 5. You don't know if he's going to pass or run. Probably going to be a pass in this situation, but they do this like shooting candy.
Well, this is good against good with these units out there. That's intercepted. Wilson takes it away for Houston on the opening drive.
Wow, partner. I've never seen him make this poor decision. I mean, Jeremiah Wilson is just sitting, squatting on this ball. He's got his eyes inside, never really took his eyes off of it, and Sawyer just threw it right to him. Sawyer Robertson looked like he was staring him down, and this back end, which is not necessarily the strong field for Houston, they are a run-stopping team. They've got some holes in that backside, Connor. My goodness, they've got to correct that. Turnovers is the one thing they could ill afford to do.
And Wilson is over there probably in the ear of McLaurin saying, hey, man, if you don't tackle me, I'm going for a pick 6.
Yep, you're absolutely right, partner. If you look at the anatomy of how Houston has won some of those upsets, TCU +6 in the turnover category.
So Houston's offense with the quick change out for the first time, and Rayshawn Sanford picks up a couple of yards.
You see, the other piece to Houston's success is can they sustain these drives to pay off those turnovers?
That's why Houston made a change at quarterback midway through the season. Zion Chris took over for Donovan Smith. Formula is pretty simple. When Houston wins the turnover margin, they win the game. When they don't, they lose.
Absolutely. And Donovan Smith, unfortunately, I don't think fully ever recovered from that labrum surgery he had in the offseason, Connor. He just hadn't looked the same.
Back-to-back runs open up the night, and slow to fast for a first down for Sanford.
I love your verbiage there. Slow to fast through. Rayshawn Sanford does a wonderful job. Watch him just size this hole up and wait for it to develop. Pause, and then boom, he hits it. Great blocking up front. And Duke Way, Peyton Dunn, all those guys up front, Demetrius Hunter and company, opening up for him. If they can do that on the right side and create tension and force this Baylor defense to defend the entire interior of that front, I'll tell you, they may have an opportunity here.
Well, this is where it gets real for Houston, inside the red zone. And Chris calls his own number. Spence, this is an offense for Houston that just simply has to be way better inside the 20-yard line.
Well, you're absolutely right. They've been abysmal inside the red area, and really just kind of, it was laughable to him when we brought it up, and he just said, look, we've got to find a way to get in here and understand. I always thought that the mindset in the red zone was to understand that when the field gets compressed, you've got to come out and understand that execution comes as a premium. It is a preparation and a mindset when you exercise and effectively run inside the red zone.
Well, they got down here off of the turnover with Snead in motion. Chris sees that pressure, and he runs away and gets around the edge. Chris down the sideline with a first down. Away from the sack, new life because of the legs of the quarterback.
Well, we told you he's looking to run first, right? And watch him, his eyes goes upfield. You got a corner cat sneaky blitz on the opposite side. Caden Jenkins, a left cornerback, will play to that short side. And that's one of the more athletic guys that Dave Aranda has on the back end. And he just made it miss in air. Great athlete there.
So Houston trying to finish a drive. They got down to the goal line against Arizona and could not punch it in with the field condensed last week. An ongoing story all year, 10 games in. On first and goal, Chris to the end zone, and that is intercepted. Or was it caught? Was it stolen away? An interception for Devin Bobby.
Ruling on the field is an interception and a touchback. First down Baylor.
Mekhi Muse trying to win it back, but dueling interceptions to start the game.
How about that? And I'll tell you, if this had happened in any place on the field, maybe if it's not completed, he comes out of that. But because it's in the end zone, it is a turnover.
We might be in for a night here. Hilton for the stay. Connor Onion, Spencer Tillman. Wild start. Baylor has only turned the ball over one time on this 4-game winning streak, and they survived an interception from Sawyer Robertson because of a pick of their own in the end zone.
Well, finally, they look like they're doing the thing that we anticipate with pace and tempo. That's run their inside running game. But the guy's going to take them to higher levels.
Bryson Washington got 7 yards on first down, right back in his belly, and he moves the chains up into the second level with their red-hot running back, Bryson Washington.
That's what I said in the open, man. They've got to set the table first and not come out and try to flip the script and be kind of entertaining or whatever you want to call it. Stick with the plan that has worked over this 4-game stretch.
3 straight carries after the pick on the opening drive. And the arrival of Bryson Washington, Spence, has equaled the resurgence of Baylor on this 4-game winning streak.
Absolutely, and the anatomy is, as they go pace and tempo here, is to get him established and then force the numbers into the box. At some point in time, if he continues to have success and move the chains like he's doing now, you have to take those 2 deep safeties and bring one of them down to account for that. Otherwise, he just rips you apart.
And fascinating, right? Because Washington's playing so well. Houston's front 7, according to Dave Aranda, the best that Baylor has seen all season.
Absolutely. And listen, I know a lot of Baylor fans won't like the reference, but I'm telling you, he reminds me when Art Briles was there, he would spread you out, put guys on the perimeter, and then run a dive. All he was concerned about was establishing the run. That's the mindset tonight. Got us
out to the edge, and Hawkins got out of that tackle and turned what would have been a loss into a 1-yard gain.
Well, Hershey McLaren was out there in his nickel position, and he was all over Hawkins, and he read it. Watch him come upfield on the other side of the ball, opposite it, and he's so deep in the field, and he's playing with excellent leverage, noting that he's got Jeremiah Wilson, number 20, on the outside of him, playing what we call a banjo coverage, a guy that's in between you and the player in this case, playing him either side. That's outstanding.
So that coverage brings up 2nd and 9. Robertson back to the air for the first time since that pick. And right at the sticks, he has Hal Presley for a 9-yard gain and a first down.
Now, Matrell McCutcheon, the right cornerback, he'll play on that short side, and occasionally Houston will flip their corners, but by and large they won't. That defensive front is so tough to handle that they do the job for them up front, Connor.
That had to feel good for Robertson.
No question.
Had not been turning the ball over much. Riding the run game of Washington and then complete. Now this one into the dirt. He'll play for 2nd down.
That's one thing that, you know, Keith Cooper, Carlos Allen, Anthony Holmes, all those guys up front will do. They will get a guy like Sawyer Robinson who needs to sit back there at 6'4", 220 and throw off of a proper platform. They are so active, Connor. They're affecting his ability to do that. So I understand why he's got issues, but early on, staring down a potential receiver like he did to throw that interception was untenable.
You're kind of looking around like that didn't look like Sawyer Robertson at all.
Blew my open.
He's got Washington back in there with him, seeking out a crease on the edge, and he'll make it 3rd down and medium through the tackle of Tibbs.
Nice little adjust there. Shea Wood, defensive coordinator for Houston, with a little run blitz pressure from the short side of the field, and guess wrong because Baylor was running away from that.
Well, Baylor likes to go for it on 4th down. They are in plus territory. This could be 2 to get 6 yards.
Well, he's going to check this play and get into something, probably going to go to the left side of the field and work with Moore on that side.
It is a run on 3rd down and medium. And that sets up a potential go for it here on 4th down.
Well, again, this is for them a run conflict scenario. For most teams, even today, 3rd down and say 3 is enough for them to put a defense in conflict. You don't know personnel-wise what you need to do. So Sawyer's going to assess it, get the call in, and probably have a dual opportunity from the line of scrimmage to get in the play that works best.
Shea Wood talked a bunch to us about that, Houston's defensive coordinator. It can put your mind in a pretzel as a defensive play caller with Jake Spavital on the other side. On a 4th and 3, they pitch it out. It's a first down to Cameron. Baylor goes for it just about as much as anybody in the Big 12.
Baylor has so many weapons, Connor. They're working out of a cluster formation with those 3 guys bunched up on the outside. This is an extension of their run, so they can do what the University of Houston does, but they'll come out and bunch you out in the short side of the field and get the ball in the hands of about 5 deep in running back because there's a down Houston Cougar on the field.
That's Brandon Mack, their overhang player on the edge, who is expected to have a big part of the game plan tonight for Houston. Well, Brandon Mack popped up after he was down injured. He's a guy that Houston's relying on tonight to set the edge against Bryson Washington in the run game.
You're absolutely right, Connor. They call that position dog position for a reason. Again, at 6'3", 245, he's more athletic than a defensive lineman, but he's got the mobility of a linebacker, and he can really press the issue, particularly on that short side of the field.
So he comes out for at least a play, and back to the air for Robertson. He has it complete to Trigg, his tight end, and his helmet pops off as he pops down to the 10. Big smile on his face as he moves the chains.
Watch number 8, Kendra Webb, the safety. He comes up and puts that head shoulder on that thigh, and it just kind of knocked him silly there for a minute. And then you got big heavies coming up front. That was Carlos Allen. I talk about how active they are. That's a defensive lineman way on the back end. And I'm telling you, there's a reason why they've got all that pressure and credibility up front. A.J. Hawley, number 2, is another guy on that back end that's pretty aggressive too.
A 14-yard hit sets up first down and goal. Fade ball, and they're locked up in coverage. Well, Johnny Carter had the coverage.
And Jack Carter was back there, and he was claiming that he was prevented from getting that ball, trying to claim it as his own.
Ajani Carter on Hal Presley, second down and goal. It's been a sustained drive for Baylor. 12 plays, 70 yards, following up the interception on the opening drive. And Baylor got it back on an end zone pick of their own. And Washington is met in the hole, but spins off of it. And they could not get him down. McLaurin met him at the line of scrimmage, and he got 5 yards out of it.
Any mystery why they call this position the anchor, right, in their defense? Watch this one. McLaurin wins that battle. As big as Washington is, you can't win the physics lesson, partner. You get your pad level underneath the guy. It's like a jack, right? You can stop a guy that weighs 20, 30, 40 pounds more than you with the proper leverage.
Well, that was inertia from Bryson Washington. Play fake, 3rd and goal to the end zone.
Wow.
Reaching grab, but knocked away. Are they going to call it a touchdown or no? Did he complete it? Yes, he did. Touchdown for
Trigg on the field. It's a completed pass for a touchdown.
Wow, that came out fast after Trigg snared it.
I think Michael Trigg sold this part. This was a Academy Award action. Watch him get rid of this ball quickly to suggest this is over with. I've got it. It's mine. Boom. Throw it away. I think he almost intentionally did it just to separate. Watch him separate that ball and put it in his right hand. Said, look, I got it. It's mine. And then he just says, look, I'm throwing it away. He almost brought it down as if he was kind of bringing it to the backside. But, man, that was quick.
I don't know. Kind of getting shades of Calvin Johnson against the Bears back in the day.
That's a great reference.
Yeah. We've got Mike Pereira with us tonight. He thinks that this will stay a touchdown. Yeah, remember that play in the back of the end zone years ago? Calvin Johnson against the Bears?
Absolutely.
That started the widespread debate. What is a catch?
Yeah, and again, these guys control it with that one hand so much these days. You got to get it in your consciousness that, hey, he had control of it. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to have both hands on it. Don't know.
So it stays a touchdown. A.J. Halsey still trying to figure out how. Michael Trigg with the snag, the sell, and the first touchdown of the night for Baylor. 7-zip Bears. Well, some time during that timeout to debate. Was it a catch? Was it not? Let's get our experts' thoughts. Mike Pereira.
Yeah, I like it as a catch because think about the element of time. After getting control, body part down, and now I thought it was incomplete at first, but he's controlled the ball, brings it around behind him. That is time. That's a football move. And by the way, going back to 2010, Calvin Johnson, as you referred to, the reversal from a touchdown to incomplete, that was my first time on television for Fox back in 2010. I was like the deer in the headlights, baby.
Well, Mike, I'm confident it's not coming full circle. It won't be your last night on television tonight.
God, nice little moment in history there, Mike. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing both your rule expertise and a little moment in time. Okay, so Zeon Chris became the quarterback mid-season. He's coming off an interception. Where do you think his mind is at after he let one get away from him.
Well, first of all, now Baylor's in form to true. It reminds me of what happened against TCU, right? TCU came down and scored on that initial drive. Baylor was slow, again, as has been their way up into this little transformation period over the last 4 games. So now you got to have an answer. If the University of Houston, you can still control the clock, which is what your game plan was. But if you let this thing get out of hand, 14 points or more, then you've got to ask your runner to become a passer. That's where it begins to be problematic.
When start of a drive.
Delay a game. Offense number 2. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, that's what Coach Fritz is going to be frustrated about. That's the ebb and flow, and sometimes it's kind of a neck-break pace where you got guys doing inexplicable things, and then they'll do something great, right? Make a great play. You got to be consistent. That's what he's looking for in this reclamation project at Houston.
It looked like Willie Fritz was saying, call it. We got to get the call in. So backs him up, first down and 15, and Chris underneath, incomplete.
And even when the offensive line gives him the protection that he needs, you got to execute and finish. But because the pass is not necessarily the first thing that they're trying to accomplish, his platform is off. He throws it in the dirt. It's just basically a check down route. You got to complete that in your sleep.
And Zion Chris as a defensive play caller on the other side tonight that will play with you enough as it is. Can't hurt yourself against Baylor's defense. And they'll face a 3rd down and very long.
You're absolutely right, partner. And this is where, if you're Dave Aranda, if you want to pin your ears back, and remember now, Dave is kind of taking over the play calling duties, and he comes in with certainly a complicated look if necessary. I don't think he necessarily needs it at this point to show anything. He's going to stay in a 4-man look and then maybe bring one guy down and create kind of like a straight 4-man, but it's just a 4-man rush with one guy eyeing the quarterback.
And Chris throws into it, incomplete. Wanted a flag. Stephon Johnson cutting across the middle, and no flag comes. It's punt time for Houston.
Yeah, couldn't hit the Z receiver coming across the field here. His eyes is coming off. That's the guy that he's sitting on the entire time. In other words, he's not going through any progressions. I don't know if they trust him to this point to do that. He's eyeballing where he wants to throw the ball, which is also problematic. But right now, Houston got to punt this thing away.
So Houston moved the ball after the turnover that their defense got him, then threw a pick in the red zone. And that drive felt doomed from the start with the penalty to begin.
And more
that is
importantly,
a absolutely booming punt. And it does take a Baylor roll back toward the 30.
I think the worst thing about that last drive to get Houston's off schedule, partner.
Well, Liam Doty with the missile sends Baylor's offense back out into the field after a long touchdown drive. Well, Baylor getting it back, leading 7-0 after a 14-play scoring drive, put them up 7-0. Well, 56 years ago tonight, the last team in college football to score 100 points at the FBS level, Houston.
Wow.
I don't know if we're getting to 100-6 tonight.
Well, it was way back in the Bill Yeoman days, way before even his time around, and then the Tulsa with Howard Twilley and company. Old school, former Miami Dolphin.
So Baylor just went on that 14-play march. The controversy at the end of it that Dave Aranda will certainly take on the catch for Trigg. Again, Mike Pereira telling us he saw a catch. Officials saw it that way. Touchdown stood. 7-0 Baylor.
Well, this defense has got to generate turnovers when they've had success in one during the stretch. That's been their MO.
Robertson floats it over the middle. Trigg, no doubt, reels that one in. And another big play for Michael Trigg.
But, partner, I asked him, who do you have that can shoot the pipe, right? What does that mean? Michael Batten, the wheel linebacker, number 44, has got to go with the tight end in the Tampa 2 scheme, right? You got to have somebody more athletic to cover that particular route right there that will burn you every single time. Great play call.
Well, up the pipe for 35 yards for Trigg. Now Pendergrass out to the edge. And a flag is down after Pendergrass chewed up some yards in the run game.
Well, we see some creativity from Jake Spavital. He's one of the best in the business at it.
Holding. Offense number 68. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
So the last 4 games, Baylor has flipped their season, and it started with the combo of Pendergrass and Bryson Washington.
Yeah, it all begins on the ground, right? If you can force, it's a chess match. If you can force someone to respect your ground game, they've got to do it with numbers or just be better at tackling fundamentally. And because of the context of college football where we are now, Connor, these guys don't get as much time to do those individual drills like we used to do in the old school.
Well, first and long, running it with Pendergrass, and that is stuffed.
Anthony Holmes is just a beast down there in the trenches, man. That defensive tackle, we call him an under tackle, right? Watch number 18, Holmes, reach the center here, and then he steps and it gets underneath him with the arm reach, and then he's in the backfield. He's plus or negative 2 yards on the other side. I don't care how good you are as a running back. If that guy can play on that side of the line of scrimmage, he's going to create total plays and chaos in those scenarios.
That is a big matchup for Houston to win tonight.
Huge.
Baylor's biggest runs come right up the middle. And that is drilled in there, but off hands incomplete. Baldwin couldn't squeeze it.
Yeah, Kendrell Webb was right there to safety. I thought he was going to have that quick reaction. I love this defensive call right here. A lot of funky things going on up top. But watch this zone coverage. Does a nice job of sitting that down. Does Baldwin right between that zone, but just can't put the grip, the vice grip on it and close it and bring it in. Well, those guys are active on the back end for Houston, man. They showed you some athleticism. I'll tell you what, they've got a couple of dudes back there that we give so much attention to the front four, but on the back end and this loose coverage right here in a prevent kind of look.
All those dudes are standing 20 yards deep, and Baylor with a short yardage run on third down, and it'll be fourth down and 15.
Well, this is an answer. That's what you've got to consider. The question is, are you on tiptoes of anticipation of giving the ball back as Carlos Allen is the one that's providing this opportunity for your offense again? Are you excited about putting the ball back in the hands of an offense that really can't do a whole lot with it? Got to find some offense for the Houston Cougars.
And when Baylor has punted this year, again, they go for it a lot. They have one of the best punters in the country with Palmer Williams. He tries to pin this one inside the 20, and he's got too big of a leg. Rolls it through the back of the end zone. So Houston on offense, they've gone down and they got to the red zone but turned it over. And because of that, they're only scoring 14 a game. Yards per game, the fewest in a generation, fewest since 1994. And flipping quarterbacks, trying to figure out what exactly their identity is. And here they are in game 11, hoping tonight's the breakthrough, but not yet.
And Connor, you raise a great point. There's a rich tradition of scoring points going all the way back to the days of John Jenkins and Andre Ware, Heisman Trophy winners. They know what it's like to score points in this system. Kevin Sumlin was here for a period. Dana Holgerson. They just have been on dry times.
Chris has that off hands. Joseph Manjack, a little behind, hands on it, incomplete.
Well, that's another problem here. Again, they've got some talent at the wide receiver position, but again, you can see it on the backside, and that's so low on the ground. I don't care if you're Gumby, you're not going to be able to get down and get that ball, man. That's just one of those situations. You've got to be able to focus and catch it and make the play.
Chris 0 for 4 to start through the air, including that pick in the red zone. And doing what he does best here, and he's not getting much. Third down coming up for this Houston offense.
That was a pretty good impersonation of this Houston defense, man. That's intentionality. Now here's a 3rd and 7. This is what you and I talked about before this thing stopped. Noel doing a wonderful job on that last stop. In an obvious pass scenario, trips up to the field and a single receiver down here. They're trying to get an isolation down here, so I think he probably wants to go down to about the 20 by the numbers, but they're going to try to get into a formation that helps him. So he's going to come to the short side of the field, balance this out, and maybe try to get a rub.
Muse running on the shuttle as a flag comes out in the run for Chris. And we'll check on the flag. For now, it'll be 4th down.
I think that came out before the ball was snapped, it looked like, or just shortly thereafter.
Personal foul. Shot block. Number 59 is 66. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
So the left guard in the center, Peyton Dunn, Demetrius Hunter called for the chop block.
Well, Can't go below that waist, and then if somebody's engaged, you certainly can't block them while they're engaged, and so that's what the chop block is called. We'll see it right down here. Yeah, you can't do that. You got to stay up, and when a guy's engaged, you certainly can't go down below the waist.
So Liam Doty had a booming punt his first time. Has another good one that Cameron has to fair catch. So 75 yards to get after the 48-yard punt. Tomorrow, huge NFL doubleheader on Fox. First, the Cowboys and the Commanders or other regional games. Then an America's Game of the Week. Christian McCaffrey and the Niners against Jordan Love and the Packers or Cardinals Seahawks. Check for the games in your area only on Fox. Little playoff divisional round rematch.
Just getting that time of the year, man.
Sawyer Robertson, the touchdown to Trigg, the pick on his first drive. Punt on drive 3. High possession game to start. Already the 4th touch for Baylor.
Well, Baylor has got the potential to blow this thing open anytime, but this is a strength against strength. Houston's defense is pretty good, says Dave Aranda. One of the best that they will face, and perhaps the best all year.
Oh, good pastured run through there for Washington, close to the first down for Baylor.
Well, listen, this is the formula that Baylor's got to use, man. It's all about Washington. Should have started the game off with him.
He tries to squeeze through there. I think he's got enough for the first down.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Keith Cooper stopped him up, and they do mark him past the line again. It is a first down.
Yep, so he's going to get that one despite Keith Cooper's efforts. And Keith's one of the transfers that's really helped this ball club out, along with the McLaren.
Baylor empties it out. Quick toss. It's going the other way. Second pick of the night. Jeremiah Wilson finishes this one. That is one way to help your offense.
Well, turnovers again. That's been the script. Let me tell you, watch this one. We call it squat dog read out there. Jeremiah was a bullfrog, and he hops all over this one and just heads the other direction in great form, in the form of the great Carl Lewis, alumni of the University of Houston, showing that sprinter's form on the back end of it. I'm telling you, man, they know the elixir, what it takes for them to have success, and he's showing it in spades tonight.
I wish the people back home could have seen you doing your Carl Lewis impersonation.
It was a bad one, but man, he ran with form correct.
Well, remember that first interception for Wilson. He got hit by his own guy, or else he might have done that earlier.
And I think the difference was you were in a short side of the field, which made it inexplicable that Sawyer stood him down and then just turned it as Willie comes over and puts that chain around his neck and says, son, that's the turnover chain. They've got that on the sideline. Everybody's doing that these days. That's his 3rd interception of the season. You can watch him make the play at the top of the screen. Watch this. When he sits on this ball, he's back off, right? His eyes are trained on the quarterback. They're looking inside right where he wants to go. And because he's in off coverage, it entices Sawyer to throw that ball thinking he doesn't have skills. Let me tell you something. Jeremiah Wilson has skills. They've got speed and closing speed on that back end, Connor. That's a talented group.
You could see Sawyer Robertson kind of dip his head as soon as he threw it. He knew that that was trouble.
I'm not sure he actually saw him because of where the underneath coverage was, and they will run a defensive end or whoever that dog is over there on the outside. It's usually going to be McLaren in the nickel spot, and his line of sight, I don't think actually saw him. And then the speed that he demonstrated, Jeremiah, when he came up, I think it just suddenly shocked him. It's a great play.
A short kickoff. And Bell brings it out across the 25. So that Houston defense reigniting that sideline in what's an unfamiliar spot now for Sawyer Robertson. The last 4 games, 1 turnover as a team, 2 picks in the first quarter in this game.
And that's exactly what the script has been for Houston when they've had these upsets against TCU, Kansas State. They have been dominant in the takeaway category. And so that's the form, exactly what Baylor wants to stay away from, Connor. And to the extent that Houston, you can see it in the energy on special teams, can stay with that script, they're going to be engaged.
Well, after the first interception, Baylor went to Bryson Washington a bunch to get Robertson settled back in. And it is Washington to start this drive on what could be the last play of the quarter.
Yep, and partner, they say the inner game cannot not be played. Here's the problem with that. You throw the picks, and then if they see you go into a more conservative style, you have to say, have we given up our game plan and allowing the home team to dominate and dictate where we're going? And that's where you don't want to play left-handed.
Spence, how much fun is the Big 12?
Oh, it's great, man. Make you want to dance, man.
Yes, it does. Baylor still alive for a trip to the Big 12 championship game. Houston playing for the postseason, trying to win out. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Welcome back to Houston with Spencer Tillman, Connor Onion. Pick 6 for Jeremiah Wilson. Just tied this game. Baylor went on a 14-play drive, ending with a Michael Trigg touchdown. Their one score in the first quarter. Robertson steps up back over the middle, and Trigg shows those strong hands again in the middle of the field.
Yeah, underscore what Mike said earlier when he made that call about the control. You can see the reason why you're tempted to go in that way. Watch the control that he shows. You got two guys tugging at you.
Holding. Offense number 72. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Well, it won't count.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's coming back. And again, you got up front Colton Price, the center. And obviously, they've got some games and deals working up front that's giving them problems. And so Jake Spavital has got to settle them down a little bit up front, because that is an active front. I'm talking about Keith Cooper, Carlos Allen and company. All those guys have the ability to make you change your mind in a hurry up front. All right, group right there is really good, man. 92 is a beast.
And Dave Aranda telling us that's the best front that Baylor has seen and maybe will see all season. Backed up behind the chains after the hold. Robertson to the wide side, on target and close to a first down with Hal Presley.
Carter defending on that play. I think, Connor, what makes them so good is the fact that that pressure that you see consistently up front takes a lot of stress off the cornerbacks on the back end, because the quarterback has got to get the ball out. And they don't have to cover nearly as long as they would otherwise. With the poor pass rush, it really exposes any deficiencies in the back end.
You're running it here, 3rd and 1?
I would run it all day, but it's a pass conflict scenario, because if you're as prolific a passer as he is, again, tonight withstanding, you take a shot with this one, inside run.
Well, they do run it with Washington. He's got it for the first down. Needed 1, got 2. Drive survives.
Well, sometimes you just got to ignore analytics, and I know that can be sexy these days to follow what the numbers say, particularly if you're as prolific as Baylor has been during this 4-game stretch here. And this run has been impressive. They've thrown the ball around as well as anybody in college football, in my opinion. And that guy, tonight withstanding, is up there with the elite quarterbacks if you're just looking at a snapshot of the previous 4 games.
A cut to the outside for Richard Reese, and he goes for a ride to the outside.
But you also saw A.J. Hawley, right? The free safety. Watch the recovery speed here. Here's number 2, right? I want you to watch him. This is a running back that put him in his hip pocket, but Hawley goes in and hauls him back in. That's the kind of athleticism they've got on this Houston Cougar defense.
Well, Halsey, a huge safety. McLaurin whiffed on the tackle, but they rally, and Keith Cooper gets him for no gain.
Well, Keith Cooper is playing on the other side of the ball, and man, I'll tell you, watch these guys show you this is probably the 3rd play we've seen where you've got a defender on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. And that particular play right there, that was Hershey McLaurin coming from that anchor position, number 15. He got in the backfield as well. So you got guys from both sides. Keith Cooper on that left defensive end was involved in that. These guys are so active.
Baylor has already gone for 1 4th down tonight. See how that influences the 3rd down call. It's up the middle. They won't need 4th down.
Well, they're going to get this first down, but boy, I tell you, A.J. Hawley is not afraid to stick his nose in there and stop a guy as big and powerful as Washington is.
Already 64 yards. Couple minutes into the 2nd quarter, and that is caught. Hawkins reels it in. Another first down for Baylor.
Well, Michael Bolton is number 44. Watch him in a trail technique right here. They put the pressure on him. They've asked him to cover the tight end. They've asked him to cover a slot guy. At some point in time,
ruling on the field of a completed pass is under further review.
At some point in time, they've got to bring Kendrell Webb down a little bit earlier to help him and take over that particular aspect of it. You can only ask the linebacker type body to trail or run with the guy so far that's more athletic than he is.
With this going up to review, that first look we got at that, Spence, it didn't look like that ball ever hit ground.
Oh, it looked like he had control of it. I mean, from the angle I saw. Take a look again and see if the ball is released here. It's low, exactly where it needs to be.
All right, Mike, another did he control it situation in this game?
I think the question to me is, did it get to the ground? That's the one that looks a little suspicious. And so in looking at their shot here, it doesn't give you the best look. I mean, you see that it looked like he had control. You see the ball pop a little bit, but that's what they're going to focus on is, does this ball get to the ground? Watch it here. If that tip of the ball hits the ground when they've got lots of cameras to look at, then that would make it incomplete.
I would offer that maybe the ball is on top of his body and never touched the ground, and that they're not going to be able to overturn it. That's the perspective that I look at it, Mike.
Yeah, and if you, that's the whole thing to me. That's the whole decision that has to be made here is, does the tip of the ball get to the ground? Very difficult to tell. It loses control, yes, but that makes no difference if it doesn't hit the ground. But it is a tight one.
Well, thanks, Mike. If this is either confirmed or stands, it will be a 16-yard gain and a first down. And the call on the field was complete.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Baylor.
Okay, so Baylor, just like the last time that they turned the ball over, they've been able to turn it right back around, go on a sustained drive here.
Well, that's a positive, right? You got to continue to stack these plays on top of one another. Hopefully you can make it more clean or cleaner than the ones that you've had contested. But again, they're capable of doing it. The issue is, can they?
Into plus territory with a first down. It's Washington. And a few yards after contact, about 7 or 8 yards to bring up second down. Give him 8 on the play.
Yeah, that's a chunk of yards for first down, and that's the formula that they want to work with, and it's really tough. And this defensive front is not used to giving up 8 per pop, but that's the matchup of this game, Connor. It's the defensive front of Houston versus Washington, and this Baylor Bear rejiggered offensive line.
Houston's run defense held Kansas State under 100 yards rushing. It's one of the best rushing offenses in the Big 12. And that upset win. And that is more like the Houston run defense we're used to seeing. Washington is nosing toward a first down, 3rd and short.
Yeah, this is speed 3rd and 1, and this is a classic run-pass conflict. But to your point, Connor, you'll see how close to the line of scrimmage those linebackers play in this scheme. And it's one of the reasons why they're so physical and why they're so effective.
The 10th play of the drive coming up. On a 3rd down. Back in the hands of Washington, and he just keeps on finishing forward.
Well, I'll tell you, man, this guy is a physical lesson coming at you. He's got the speed, the mass, and once he leans forward, he's going to fall forward. If you just need one, give it to Washington. He's a playmaker.
He played in the slot T offense in high school in the state of Texas in Franklin. And in that offense, Dave Aranda knew that he was getting a guy that can take a heavy load. So that is run, run, run downhill.
Well, that's thinking like a defensive mind and the genius, quite frankly, which is, I believe, Dave Aranda is. He's really a cerebral guy, and everybody knows that, but it's showing up over these last 4 games.
A feather to the outside. It's reeled in for the touchdown. Hawkins showing the elasticity to go get it, and Baylor leads again.
Showing a little pizzazz in the end zone, too, with the dance, and he beats the nickel guy right on the outside, and that's where you come in and you make a play on a guy that you should be making a play on. The adjustment, the fade, and to get his body to the outside was absolutely outstanding. Robertson put it exactly where it needed to be placed to allow him to make that difficult catch. Just a beautiful catch, and even more impressive, little Irish jig or something on the sideline he's doing. That's pretty good.
Oh, it cuts inside. It is good. Ooh, that was a little bit nervy for Hankins. 23-yard pop. How about Sawyer Robertson? After both interceptions tonight, he's come back with touchdown drives. Baylor retakes the lead. Sawyer Robertson to Ashton Hawkins. And if you're a Baylor fan, you're scoreboard watching all day long. And Baylor has gotten the help they need. They needed either a BYU or a Colorado loss and a win tonight to stay alive into the final weekend. And they got both that happened. Also keeping our eye on Iowa State, Utah right now.
Well, there's a chaos scenario that has them doing more. But as you said, this graphic kind of tells the story, and it talks about what you began the program with the parity, balance, competitiveness, however you want to characterize it. With that Kansas-Colorado score, to me, just jumped out more than any of them out there in terms of upset nature.
How about the month that Kansas is having? They're not eligible, not alive anymore to go to the Big 12 championship, but they've muddied up the race with wins against Iowa State. They beat BYU, and then they beat Colorado. So 9 teams are still alive into this late window with 1 week to go.
Well, the college football world is flat. Let me put it that way. And then again, Kansas, as you mentioned, Lance Leipold, since coming over from Buffalo in 2020, during that COVID era, has really done a masterful job at rebuilding through all the significant changes. 2021, the landmark court decision that changed everything. He has been consistently producing winners.
Stacey Sneed starts this drive for Houston with 6 yards. But we confirmed it with the conference this week. A spokesperson for the conference admitted these are messy scenarios potentially, but everything we've gone through, 9 teams still in it as of this moment.
Well, somebody said, if it's good or bad, just give me publicity. And I think this is good for the conference to be able to talk about it, and you leverage it in recruiting. You inspire your players on the roster and those who would be in a future point. Staying competitive is important.
Back-to-back carries for Sneed, and he redirects and carries ahead for a first down.
Well, that's what you need. You know, this is part of the plan. You would prefer to do it from either an even standpoint, 14-14, or even an advanced standpoint with the 2 turnovers. But can you convert those into points? And that's been something they've struggled with. Forget about the offense itself, but converting points off a turnover, that's another aspect that we haven't even gotten to yet.
Only 45 total yards. Houston has been outgained big time. But here they are on a drive, middle of the second quarter, chance to tie it again, thanks to the pick 6 from Wilson. Oh, wide side throw, and Chris with his first completion of the night out to Johnson.
Well, let's see what kind of route Johnson runs. He's on the outside again. He's going to, it's an out cut, but he's going to time this thing and pivot and turn and come right back to the ball. Joseph Dodds was out there covering him at that right cornerback position. It was a drive route that he set down with a nice little 5-yard cushion. That ball was coming out. It was a timing pass. Those are the types of routes that Chris can throw effectively.
So as Houston tries to play spoiler tonight and keep their postseason hopes alive, they stay on the move, but now going backwards. Devin Bobby up from safety.
He came in that safety position. He was Johnny on the spot, man. Bobby was there, sitting right on top of him, and that's what you know your defense is flying around. The relative time that it takes for a defender to arrive, particularly in man coverage, to the person who's got the football. You need that to be bang, bang.
Spence, he talks like how you want your safety to talk.
Yep.
He was asked early in the year, how would you describe your game? Pretty simply put, he said, I love to crack you.
That's street talk right there, brother.
Came up downhill for the loss of 3. And 3rd down and long coming. This is a tough place for Houston to live. Through the air, they haven't had much there tonight, just the 12 yards.
Well, they've got to be balanced. And again, what does that constitute? When you're a running team and everybody knows it, what does that mean? It means you run, but when you do throw it, you have to complete it. It's less of an option, it's less of a luxury. And so balance is not spending an equal amount of plays running and passing. It is doing what you need to do in that moment. 3rd and 9, you've got to hit this pass. It's got to be a first down.
Well, Johnson, who he hit earlier, is down bottom side of the screen. Pressure comes. Chris cannot get away from Noel. Jones the first pressure. Noel cleaned him up, and it's 4th down.
Well, here's a little early Christmas gift, says Noel. He's coming right through the pipe, and number 2's coming too, man, the whole party. You knew you were going to get a blitz type look, right? That's a Dave Aranda special. You've got 9 yards. You've got the quarterback that's not adept at throwing the ball as a primary option. You got to bring pressure to affect him, and it was successful.
That was the second Noel with the second effort. I guess in his case, the third Noel.
Very nice.
Linus Noel the third with the second effort pressure. And Cameron calls for the fair catch. Just past the midway point of the second quarter. Crazy day in the Big 12. Baylor trying to stay alive in the race. All right, kicking contest did not get off to a good start in our break.
Well, his form is bad. You know, he's got his feet open and he was smiling. You ever see a kicker smile right before he kicks? No. He's other directed, but he's worried about how he looks. Oh, changed the little form a little bit, right? Nice. Finished. Look at him. That's a post-millennial right there if I ever saw one. He's worried about his style, and you missed the first 5 of them.
He didn't need the 3 steps back, 2 to the side.
Exactly.
You got it right at the end. Pendergrass breaks through to the second level, and Halsey up to greet him before the first down.
I'll tell you what, man, Pendergrass can run the ball as well. We know at Washington, we've seen him, and Pendergrass has been a great asset and kind of an outpitched guy to help salt games away, but they both deserve time. But Washington clearly, to me, over the last 4 games, has been the guy that has really stood head and shoulders above and should be getting the lion's share of the carries.
Well, the one game on the winning streak where Washington didn't have 100 yards, Pendergrass did. Went for 142 against Oklahoma State. So you got a 2-headed monster going back there. You throw Richard Reese in the mix too.
Absolutely, and Reese is not bad either. I'm telling you, they go at least 4 deep. I mean, there may be 5 guys that can literally carry the ball, and they'll throw to him as well. One of the things about Jake Spavital's offensive scheme, this spread scheme, they will put these runners on the perimeter as well.
3 straight Pendergrass carries, this one to the outside, and he is chewing up yardage. Another gain of 8 yards after he picked up the first down.
Great job by Hal Priestley, number 16 on the edge, just getting good blocks out there for his guys. And love it when those wide receivers give it up for these running backs.
Spence, this is where the 2 scoring drives have started. Run, 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 and then they let Robertson chuck it. It's short passing game out to the edge for Hawkins. Makes a move and runs into McLaurin short of the first down. Needed 3, got 2. Here comes 3rd down.
Yeah, there was an extension of the run game right behind this line of scrimmage where you get the ball in the hands of your fleet-foot wide receivers. But again, as you said, McLaurin was right there playing as he has so frequently and often tonight on the other side of the line of scrimmage to keep the advance to a minimum of a couple of yards.
Keep an eye on the clock. Houston gets the ball out of halftime. They're hoping to touch it again. But Baylor has played ball control most of the night.
Almost twice as much have the Baylor Bears been able to control it. That's a formula that the Houston Cougars want to have.
3rd and short. Pendergrass got hit at the line. He didn't get there.
He's short.
McLaurin makes another play. 4th down.
So how confident are you as we take another look at this play? We got short motion coming in, got a Y, an H-back coming in to block, and he still can't get that yardage. And once you get your feet off the ground like that with this aggressive defensive front, Keith Cooper, Carlos Allen and company, you're not going to go forward, I can tell you that. So this 4th and inches, and looks like the book says they're going to go for it. They may try to draw him off sides here.
Baylor does have all 3 timeouts. But Jake Spavital, Dave Aranda not budging.
That's a gutsy call right here, man.
They do snap it. Right up the middle. Pendergrass finishes ahead. Gamble pays off.
Well, it does. I mean, if you know what the book says and you're comfortable about it, it makes a big difference if you know in your heart and your mind what the numbers say and what your skill set says.
Aggressive and mostly effective, almost 60% on the year.
That's pretty good numbers right there. It's just when you see the visual backed up in your own territory like this in a game where this team lives off of turnovers, it just really shows you how committed to what we do that Baylor has. They're just convinced that they can get that yardage.
Robertson on a 1st and 10. Back over the middle. What a grab! Mike Trigg cradles it into the next level. It's becoming the Michael Trigg game in Houston for Baylor.
Trying to figure this guy out is tougher than trigonometry. This guy goes up and one hands that one down and pulls it down with total control. Let me tell you something. This kid is unbelievable. Watch him go high point this ball, man, and then pull the nose down and protect it.
2-minute timeout.
And put that coverage in his back pocket. Houston's got to find a better guy out there than Michael Bolton to cover him at will.
Michael Trigg already has a career high in receiving yards before halftime. Nasty snag that was a touchdown, and then over the middle he has chewed up catch after catch and has taken defenders with him with one-handed grab.
Well, there's a slew of transfer players, and we'll unpack this in a little bit after this play, that have helped this ball club, and he's the latest as the flag comes out.
And McCutcheon had coverage on Presley. That matchup that drew the flag.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 1 of the defense. Half distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
And it is on Latrell McCutcheon.
They got the right cornerback over there on the face mask, and when you're playing man coverage, sometimes it's easy to do that, man. You just got to be mindful of the fact that you play great technique, and that will insulate you from some of those poor calls or poor decisions on your part that draws those calls. Technique will cure a lot of that.
And Trigg back out there. He's up in the slot.
Oh, he's tough out here, man.
When they run it, Pendergrass is inside the 5 on 2nd down and goal coming up.
Well, Trigg is one of those players that Dave Aranda has done a wonderful job of assembling via the transfer portal. You look at them. These guys are guys that make big contribution to this team. And no one has made a bigger contribution today than Trigg has. He has been outstanding with his possessions and his catches.
Was he saying throw the ball? That's what it looked like he was saying throw the ball again. And they run it. And Halsey up to make the stop, but Pendergrass backs his way through that contact.
And Halsey was looking for a little bit of help. Number 2, he says, look, he's tough to bring down. Pendergrass is trying to get to that end zone. And Halsey says, let it go. He's looking for another TKO, man. It's no Teddy Pendergrass reference there from you.
Inside a minute to go in this half. And an errant snap with Washington, the tailback, lined up at quarterback, and he had to get back on top of it. Oh, wow. Near disaster for Baylor.
Whether it's self-inflicted or you do it yourself, it's the Wildcat. You got Washington, and that snap is out. That's not Washington's fault. You've got to get the ball back there to him as if it were the quarterback. I mean, that's unbelievable, unspeakable. You're on the doorstep with a chance to create some distance between yourself. You're the traveling team. I mean, the stage is set for you to do more.
A loss of 25 on the play. And Baylor will use the timeout and settle for
first charge timeout of the half. Baylor, immediate timeout.
That try on the other side after Colton Price's snap went all the way to Waco.
Hey, coming up on the State Farm halftime, could Colorado continue their run in the Big 12 today against Kansas? BYU and Arizona State in a huge game with major Big 12 implications, and Ohio State makes a huge statement in another top 5 matchup. Connor and Spencer, we'll see you guys at the half.
Mike, so many juicy storylines to get into at the Big 12, including here with Baylor still alive for a trip to the championship game. And a
first charge timeout of the half. Houston, 30 seconds.
Before Dave Aranda sending Isaiah Hankins out there to try to extend the lead. Friday night on Fox, Big 12 regular season finale in prime time. It's Utah against one of the nation's best running backs. If you haven't seen R.J. Harvey run the football,
the baller,
you're going to love it. He's running it for UCF Friday night. 8 Eastern only on Fox against Utah.
Yep, Gus Malzahn made some little tweaks to his offensive schemes. We look at Dave Aranda, and he's done some wonderful things there to get that program turned around. Had to make a tough call and get rid of his defensive coordinator, but making some hay.
Dave Aranda and Baylor were hoping to punch in a 2-touchdown lead before halftime. Snap went backwards 25 yards, so now it's Hankins from 45 yards out to make it a 10-point game before the half. And that is between the pipes.
But here's the big takeaway. Houston and Willie Fritz has got something to preach about right now. I mean, given what's happened, they're still down just 10. And Dave Aranda's going to go have a talk, but he's got to find a way to get that offense clicking and moving down and scoring.
Houston does get the ball out of halftime, but Baylor's defense has not allowed any points. It was a defensive score for Houston that has this game at 17-7 at the break.
Welcome to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, what's up? Welcome inside our LA studios. Mike Hill along with Emmanuel Acho and Chris Peterson. Of course, we'll get you back out for the second half between Baylor and Houston very shortly. But first, we got to get you caught up on other action from around the country. It's our State Farm halftime highlight, starting with a crazy finish between BYU and ASU. 10 seconds left in the game. Arizona State up 28-23. Fourth down, Sam Levitt just trying to toss it up there. Let's just let the clock run out, right?
Looks like grounding to me, Mike.
Well, hey, but you know what? They thought the game was over. Fans stormed the field, but after a review, 1 second was added back to the clock, and Kenny Dillingham is losing his mind. So the fans, they've already taken down the goalpost. They're out there. Hey, you got to get back into the stands, right? Because we still got 1 second on this clock, and guess what happens? BYU, final chance, Jake Resloff looking downfield. Chase Roberts is there, but 2 yards short.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Arizona State wins it 28-23. The fans out, you can come back out. The game's over now. BYU, second straight loss. Arizona State right there in the mix in the Big 12. Colorado controlled its own destiny before they played Kansas and bow down to Devin Neal because he just ran all over Colorado today.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know what's going on in the Big 12.
Shedeur Sanders doing his thing, though. Travis Hunter
doing his thing.
Always. Another huge game. His second touchdown of the game, over 100-yard receiving. Yes, didn't hurt his Heisman hopes, but Colorado's hopes really hurt by Devin Neal in that rushing attack. Over 300 yards rushing. He had over 200 yards rushing himself. Devin Neal, yeah, count him out. 4, like his jersey number, 4 touchdowns today. Colorado's defense has been one of the big stories all season long, how much improved they have been. Today, they look mediocre against that Kansas rushing attack.
Don't say mediocre.
Not even mediocre.
Don't say mediocre. It was atrocious. It was abysmal.
Okay,
it was embarrassing. And I can say that because I know Deion Sanders would say that himself. My coach would always say, put something on tape you can be proud of. And Colorado did nothing to be proud of defensively today. Shout out to Kansas. Kudos to Kansas. 331 yards rushing is utterly impressive. But what Colorado did was abysmal. And the worst part about it, Coach, they put it on tape. And so now other teams will smell blood in the water, and they will try to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's crazier. Kansas beating 3 ranked teams back to back to back.
Yep.
Or Colorado's defense just not showing up. But I will say this about Kansas. I mean, that offense just controlled it. They had 8 possessions, scored on 7 of them. The only time they didn't score was the last possession of the game. They took and killed the clock. That, like, having 7 possessions, that's like playing option football. So you take Shedeur and that good offense right out of the game. This was a really great game plan.
Not necessarily unexpected. We give a lot of hype to Colorado. Let's give some love to Kansas. Like you mentioned, 3 straight games against ranked teams. This is the first time ever in FBS history that an unranked team or a team under 500 has ever done that. What's been the difference for Kansas after that very slow start?
They jump out on teams early.
Okay.
To me, if you can jump out on teams early, if you can keep in your rhythm, keep running the ball, then you can do whatever it is is that you want to do. They never were forced to pass because they always had a lead and they played with the lead.
All right, that Big 12 crazy because of Kansas being spoiler down the stretch. Meanwhile, Texas still at third in this week's playoff rankings and still without any wins against currently ranked teams. Longhorns hosting Kentucky today in Austin.
Put your arms down, Mike. Once again, unless you're going to do something with them arms, put your arms down, Mike. Because Texas and Quinn Ewers right here. He doing something with his arm, finding Gunnar Helm in the back of the end zone. Texas takes a nice little 7-0 lead.
They're up 7-0. There you go. Quinn Ewers, Helm again.
This is pretty.
They're going to have a ranked team next week.
No doubt about it. Texas versus Texas A&M for the first time since I was there, but we will talk more about that later on.
31-14. Number 9, Ole Miss, Florida. Give credit to Florida, man.
And Montrell Johnson in the Wildcat. They look pretty.
24-17, take the lead late. Lane Kiffin not happy about this. Jackson Dart, nice game early, but then fourth quarter, last 2 possessions threw 2 costly interceptions. That one picked up by Bryce Thornton. Maybe Ole Miss's playoff hopes thwarted.
No maybe.
Gators win at 24-17. Wake Forest, number 8, Miami. Miami trying to keep their ACC championship hopes alive, getting to the championship game. Cam Ward doing his part.
And they're going to always have a chance with Cam Ward.
Always. He's one of the best. That's why he's a Heisman contender there. And the defense coming through. Mish
Powell, let's go.
Mish Powell, 77-yard pick 6. Miami wins it 42-14. Win next week against Florida State. They're in against SMU because SMU punched his ticket today against Virginia. Kevin Jennings, look at this strike.
We are liking this SMU team a lot, Arch.
They look good, Coach, and they have all season. That's the crazy thing. Their consistency is next level.
They're blue bloods. That's what they say. Jennings, Matthew Hibner, 16-yard touchdown. SMU in the ACC championship game, 33-7. Number 4, Penn State, Minnesota. Battle here. Nick Singleton with his team down 6. Scoring, giving them a lead, 23-22 in the third. Late in the fourth, only a 1-point game. 4th and 1. Luke Reynolds, the fake.
Let me just say this. Penn State, 1,000% deserves to win this game, calling that fake in that situation. That is awesome
Takes
football.
a lot of cojones right there. 26-25, they win. Number 5, Indiana. Number 2, Ohio State. This was the game. Indiana, even though 10-0, had a lot to prove, we found out special teams not so special for them.
That was the difference. Well, that was one of the huge differences in the game.
Caleb Downs, one of those dudes that Ohio State has. They win at 38-15. Howard saying, hey, Google that.
Oh,
shout out to
we throwing shots.
For more from Columbus, Rob Stone and the crew.
After falling behind 7-0, the Buckeyes rattle off 31 straight points en route to a comfortable win. They get a victory next Saturday over Michigan. They are back in the Big Ten championship game. What did you see from their red zone offense today?
Well, I saw it, and we made a point in the playbook. The team that is successful in the red zone and goal line, that's going to win the game. And remember, when you get to the red zone inside the 5-yard line, it's pass-fail grade. Kicking a field goal is a minus, you fail. Scoring a touchdown, you win. And they were 4 or 5 after the first one. I still don't understand why they try to drive it in. There were 22 people around the ball. But they spaced it out, made some plays, threw the ball, and ran the edges, and they were 4 out of 5 in the red zone.
Will Howard, incredibly efficient, 21 for 25, almost 200 yards, couple touchdowns, really controlled the game there. You love to see that. The offensive line was a concern. We were kind of curious to see how that would play out. I thought they did a really good job, rushed for over 100 yards.
I thought the pressure package that Ohio State brought into the game, it was too much for Indiana to handle. Yeah. They had 5 sacks, they had 10 multiple quarterback hurries, and they just had Curtis Rourke under duress all day today.
And for Indiana, guys, they had a chance to prove the doubters wrong today. They didn't get the job done. Now the real question is going to be how far do they fall in the playoff ranking. Still a really good football team, but let's see what the committee thinks.
Need some help.
Michigan week begins right now. 1,820 days since the Buckeyes last beat the team up north. We've got it live for you next Saturday on Fox.
You know what they're doing on the Ohio State campus right now? Crossing out every M. Every M, because it is Michigan week. And next weekend on Fox, Ohio State battles Michigan. College football's most intense rivalry coverage begins next Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, special 3-hour edition of Big Noon Kickoff live from Columbus. Meanwhile, Georgia got the week off, taking on UMass. Nobody actually played.
I really hate even saying this, but are we calling this a Venmo or a Zelle game? Because that's what this is all about.
Straight Cash App, whatever gets it done. Crypto going up.
Crypto game.
Yeah, crypto going up, man. Cheers. Georgia rolls 59-21. Number 11, Tennessee, UTEP, another cash game. Nico Iamaleava right there.
Very nice.
Squirrel white touchdown. Nico I once again, Brew McCoy. No problem. 56-0. Tennessee wins there. Hey, tomorrow is a huge NFL doubleheader on Fox. First, the Cowboys take on the Commanders or other regional action. Then we got America's Game of the Week. Christian McCaffrey, the banged-up Niners against Jordan Love and the Packers. I think Jordan Love would throw a pick in that game.
He's been doing it all season.
All season long. Or the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Check for the games in your area, only on Fox. Second half between Baylor and Houston is coming up.
Well, play of the first half came from Michael Trigg for Baylor, skying up there. Not only a highlight play, he's got a career high one half through, almost 100 yards receiving. It includes a touchdown, and Baylor trying to keep their hopes alive to go to the Big 12 championship game. Spencer Tillman, Connor Onion, thanks for being back with us. Let's talk about Sawyer Robertson, because there was a pick, there's a touchdown drive, there's another pick, and then another touchdown drive. It's been this, that, everything for Sawyer Robertson.
It's been famine and feast, and I give that order in particular because of the way the highlights came. Sawyer Robinson struggled a little bit. If squatted on, Jeremiah Wilson does it on this particular play. I telegraphs that pass, and then he has some help from Trigg. The guy we just showed you a minute ago goes up and high points that one. Again, this one, he takes it to the other house. Same guy. Off coverage that time, so you got to find a way to get the rhythm. But I will say this, when they got going and got scoring, all three of Baylor's scoring drives, 11 plays or more, they basically flipped the script and done to them, Houston, what Houston is specialized in, and that's in stealing possessions away. Today, Sawyer's turned around the numbers.
And that passing yardage number looks a lot like where he was at this point last week when he went for a career high in the win against West Virginia. Baylor's trying to win 5 in a row, go from 0-3 in the Big 12 all the way to the championship game if they can win out and get some help. Second half coming soon. Posty bringing us back to start the second half. Nice. Houston. Baylor leads it 17-7. A win tonight. They'll go into the final weekend with a chance, with some help and a win to go to the Big 12 championship game. Off we go in half number 2. The Bears and the Cougars. And the Cougars will touch it first. Well, the only score for Houston in the first half came on defense. The first half check-in is sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Well, here's the thing about it in terms of, we're looking at the total yards and all that stuff. Baylor stole the ball away from Houston and maintained it and took their script. Baylor with 47 plays to Houston 17. So they more than doubled the number of plays that the home team has available to them so far tonight.
And with all that, Houston is still a touchdown away here from, or a field goal here from being right there. A little pressure off the edge and running right into the arms of Matt Jones, who has smothered ball carriers for years in the middle of the Baylor defense.
Zion Chris is really hanging onto that ball a lot longer on these reads, and I think that's part of Dave Aranda's strategy. He's making that read complicated from that defensive end. He's reading the safety and or the end on those inside zones, and they're making it complicated for him to make clean meshes.
How do you get this thing going if you're Houston?
Well, you got to find a way to soften up this defense and hit something downfield.
They'll try off play action right here. Nothing there. Chris doesn't get away. Trevin Ma'ai wrangles him down before Chris could break free.
Well, again, the thought was to do just what we talked about, partner. He's looking downfield with just a slight little cursory mesh that draws some attention underneath, but there was literally nothing there. Everybody's manned up on the back end of it, and Chris has nothing to do. Nowhere to go.
So he gets to answer a question at a halftime right away. Did not convert on a third down in the first half. On a 3rd and 6, Chris looking over the middle, and there's the first third down conversion of the night. Needed 6, got 7.
And pardon, it might be too early to talk about the middle 8 in terms of your progress, because you got to get the first series behind you. But we talk a lot about the middle 8, the first 4 minutes of the half, and then after the half, the first 4 minutes of the second half, because it's about adjustments. What do you do to reverse the script if, in fact, you're on the short end? And it looks like they've got the early indicators in place. Got a first down.
Malik Carr available for his quarterback, Chris. Now back to the run game, and Jones is right out there to make another play.
Yeah, I tell you what, this Baylor Bear defense populates to the ball. These white uniforms are all over. Dave Aranda is in the sweet spot as a play caller and a kind of a dean of this defensive structure. You know, he's the head coach. There's no question about that. But in talking to him, Connor, he gave us some sense that he's able to be more focused now in this capacity, and he's getting better results. And he said, quite pointedly, the inflection point happened about 4 weeks ago when they started this streak. And as you said, they've got a chance to run the table now.
He's been a machine of quote gold. Pressure off the edge. Johnson coming. They throw a screen against it, and there goes Johnson. Johnson coming off the edge for Baylor. Johnson running the other way for Houston with a first down.
How about Kevin Barbe with the nice call right here, using the speed against them. He's going to come underneath here and then take advantage of that quick flowing defense and then find a way to get them counter-programmed with a nice move. Great play call underneath, using the speed of this Baylor coverage underneath against them to find some opportunities.
Well, Houston is looking for a star in the passing game that hasn't emerged yet through 10 weeks. And if they can protect Chris, give him time to get it to Johnson, he could be that guy.
Well, he could be that guy. And I think the overarching thought is they've got to find a way to affect the coverage. If you can't make the numbers reduce or increase around the line of scrimmage, there will be no opportunities for him to throw the ball. I can tell you that Kevin Barbe will not be comfortable enough to throw it downfield.
It's a run. And it's a third down after Stacey Snead gets a yard.
Yeah, look, if you're sitting at home and you're saying, okay, what must be the look in order for Houston to push the ball downfield? As long as you see 2 high safeties back there, they're not going to throw against that. It's a cover 2 shell look, but it literally instantly tells you that you've got enough people on the back end so that you don't have to risk it. And so the run becomes the better option. Don't tempt fate and try to throw against all of those bodies back there. This is cover 2 right here. 2 high safeties right beyond the 31-yard line. You can see him. Conservative style of defense. He's going to throw against it.
Linebacker pressure was picked up. It's downfield. It is incomplete. Caden Jenkins with coverage. And Manjack stumbled at the end of the route.
Well, Jenkins is there on the other side. They've got coverage on the backside with the free safety. So that safety is playing a half-field concept, and he's coming over to help and bring some help. So that there's Devin Bobby, the strong safety, is there unused, if you will, to help and assist. So once again, you're not going to win that numbers game against a cover 2 scheme like that. They're going to have too many bodies back there.
Houston's offense not going anywhere.
Nope. Now they're vacillating into cover 1. You may have something to the left side if he comes back.
Chris needs 5 yards, and he puts his body on the line to get there. Banging off bodies for the first down.
I love the want-to on this when Chris does what we call run to the grass. You're going to see him check and then come back through here. What he's doing is technically, from an offensive standpoint, running where the bodies are not. And it's not passing the ball, but you're still doing an old school philosophy of tacking the naked spot of the field. Run to the grass.
So Houston with an extended drive out of halftime. Reversed through the tackle of Gordon. And eventually planted after a couple yards for Sanford. And this play blown dead. Flag out at the top side.
False start. Number 6 of the offense. Never got fully set. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's the tight end Malik Carr.
Well, that one hurts too. Again, you've got to be able to, as a tight end, understand exactly what you're trying to do. And everybody's got those little flip cards out there. And And they're going to be looking at them to figure out what's going on. There's some newness here to this concept, but that has nothing to do with you jumping off sides and out of movement. If you're thinking too much, you can't play fast.
It is very synchronized when they look at the play card. Everybody doing it at the same time, all 11 guys. Oh, dropped snap. Chris has to improvise. And he does make a little out of that. What could have been a disastrous snap turns into a 4-yard gain.
Nice little move on Trevor Ma'ai there. Watch him, number 9, and after he gets rid of him, just makes him miss in open space. This guy's got athleticism, but it's unfortunate that it has to come after a mistake and an ill-advised snap. And again, he's not able to handle that, but he's making a tough situation less difficult than it would be otherwise.
Houston went for it on their last 4th down. The season long for their kicker, Jack Martin, is 49 yards. So this is in his range. Be 47 from here. Chris to throw on 3rd and 7. Runs out of time. Running away from tacklers, and back to the line he goes. Into the waiting arms of Ma'ai one more time.
Yeah, it's just too much to ask this offensive line to protect that long, and then Chris's eyes comes down off of field, so you know what he's looking to do at that point. He's trying to run the football. It's not going to be many opportunities against this defense.
And they will bring the kicking unit out. Try to make this a 1-score game again.
Well, one thing they've done is they possessed the ball in this second half, and that's been impressive early on.
Just inside that season long of 49 for Jack Martin. From 47 out. And plenty of leg on it, but that was outside the pipe.
Wow.
That was very close. Well, if that's above the uprights, that is not reviewable. If it's below, you can take a look. So a missed field goal for Houston after they held it for almost 7 minutes. Keeps this a 2-score lead for Baylor. And the scoring drives tonight for Baylor have started deep in their own territory.
How about that mean number of 11 or more plays per drive, and then sucking the life out of what offense the Houston Cougars have had available to them tonight. Stealing opportunities.
Bryson Washington, his first carry of the half, gets banged down on the edge. And we got a couple of different looks at that field goal. Straight on look that we showed you going to break, it was close. Got a lower angled version of that, and it did look like it was outside.
Yeah, it certainly did look like it was outside. And listen, you possessed the ball, which I thought was good, but you got to pay it off. Just outside the doorstep of the red zone, where they've had trouble all year.
Play fake, pressure in the face of Robertson. He's wrapped up and swung down. Jamal Morris brings him down for the sack.
They call him the Mike backer for a reason. Jamal Morris, number 25, comes underneath, and he's freed. And when you leave this guy open in space as a Mike, he is a heat-seeking missile in the middle of this defense. He is something special. Shield Wood talks about the guys that are the leaders. He's one of them, man, and he wears that green dot for a reason. He's active, he's physical, and he's smart.
And the guy that has taken the Spencer Tillman path, played at Oklahoma and has come on to Houston. Brings up 3rd down and 17.
Just a
backside
rush.
Pressure. McCutcheon gets there. With that 4-man rush. That's all they needed to bring up 4th down.
Didn't mean to step on your part, but man, when I saw this lineup, they were playing with a 4-eye technique, and at outside, this position right here, right? This is called a wide 9 technique. This arm under, I've seen this guy make this play 7-8 times this year. There's not a tackle in America that can cover him consistently on that move. He is so good at coming around the edge on that outside. So impressive.
He almost knocked that ball free. The reaction from McCutcheon was kind of like, yes, I'm glad I got home, but also got to get that ball out. And that's the one way that Houston has scored tonight on the pick 6. This is Muse to the outside. Flag does come out.
Unfortunately, they may get a little hold in here on Houston again. Those up backs are trying to help out, and they're trying to get the return and get a little handsy. Willie's not going to be happy about it because he's A stickler for detail, man.
During the return, holding, number 12 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down. Media timeout.
What was that call, Willie Fritz mouths? Well, Travion McCutcheon gets the ball back in the hands of the Houston offense. Houston gets another crack at it after a missed field goal their first trip down, where they had almost as many yards they had the entire first half.
That's a pretty good adjustment, right? You found some things that worked, made a little soft spot in the middle of that defense, but you still didn't come away with points. Got to do something about that.
Muse running the shuttle again. Jones with the pressure. They almost got there, and it's knocked away. Lorando Johnson with some help of his friend up front. Matt Jones getting pressure in the face of Chris.
Yeah, Rashawn Stanford do a decent job with the pickup, the blitz. You see him get his nose in there, but that's just a little bit too big a body for him to handle. Mike Jones, the Mike linebacker, Matt Jones, the Mike linebacker, came and butted him up in the middle, but great effort. Like the idea, but you got to finish.
Jones, such a weapon as a pass rusher. Even though he's playing at that second level, he's the sacks leader for Baylor. Back to the run game with Sanford, and he spun off the hit of Trey Wilson, who was along his back. Here comes 3rd and 7.
Well, I can see what the strategy is to use the speed as we look at Jones there. Dave Aranda, use the speed against them, pace and tempo. That's what they're trying to do against Baylor, to find some ways to get them upfield and maybe some quick hitters underneath.
Just the 1 3rd down conversion in this game for Houston.
They attack this area of the field, partner, right there.
That's where they went to get that 1 conversion. Well, Baylor was still trying to get set, and back to the middle. It's another first down. Same spot, different guy, Mekhi Muse this time.
It's not rocket science. You attack the grass, and again, even when you come to the line of scrimmage, why do you do it faster than you typically would? So you can assess things. So at least we know this much. They've given this quarterback, Chris, the ability to make adjustments, and Willie is trusting him to do that. He's got a core full of plays, maybe 5 to 6 plays, that he has the option to get the call on that he needs. That middle of the field is where you need to attack.
They got it to the guy that's their energy giver, Muse. And Sanford up ahead, brought down by Devin Bobby, 2nd and medium.
And that applies to not just the passing game, but in the run game as well. If you can get the right angles and blocks, partner, you want to attack that in the run game. As you alluded to a minute ago, Dave Aranda is a very active coach. He's going to run blitz occasionally, but if you get gutted and get caught on one of those run blitz, they can take that one to the house really, really quickly.
Houston much better in the run game since halftime. And that is a big hit from Keaton Thomas. He punched it out on Devin Williams to bring up 3rd down.
Wow, that was a violent hit. Thomas comes in there, number 11, man, and he just at that wheel linebacker position. They call it weak side, but there's nothing weak about the force that he comes with this ball. Inside out, it's in the ground, and again, it just looked more violent when it was in real time. You can hear the sound. Probably never had a chance to have a legitimate completion, but just the physical presence of this defensive stop unit is impressive.
The middle of the field has been the point where Houston's got it on 3rd down. They run it this time with Snead, and he wiggles his way ahead to move the chain.
And you had what we call an inside game that was working, and sometimes we call it scissors twist. When these guys do like this and they crisscross, right, you got to make sure that you not vacate the area which you're actually leaving. So that crisscross means you have to have run fits. And listen, Dave draws them up where they're supposed to be run. But sometimes when those guys crisscross like that, Connor, they can get moved off their alignment and they lose their integrity. It's great to have games and deals working underneath, but you cannot get out of those lanes.
Dave Aranda gives you so much to look at.
There's another inside game. They may get a penalty on that.
That's a hold. That's 2 flags are out. This will come back. Snead coasting down the sideline, but this one will go all the way back.
Yeah, it's coming back, and you'll clearly see where the games and the deals may cause problem for an offensive line, but they can cause problems when they try to make up for it, and they end up getting the guy on the back of the legs.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, big Tank Jenkins back there at that right guard position. You can see 72. You can see right here And watch him kind of fold underneath, and he grabs a guy with that hand right around the neck. Big guy.
Is Trey Wilson was saying, come on, man, I would have had that sack.
Tank says, I'm 6'3", 320. I'm not going to let you just run past me now. How about this quad look? 4 receivers.
Baylor had to hustle to get aligned for that. And Johnson off a hit. He escapes and backs his way all the way to the marker.
How about that? This is almost 20 net yards here, but look, they're trying to get there late. Baylor doesn't have enough bodies over there, so you've got 4 wide receivers and 1 off the ball. The formation is legal, so that clears the first hurdle. But look at the aggressive that they run with on the back end of this one. Johnson does a wonderful job of closing the deal and finishing the run.
And Kylan Reed was lined up in between the tackles to begin, had to race out there. Then the effort after the catch leads to a 19-yard gain. Fake pitch, back over the middle. Carr juggles it and recollects and saved what could have been a Baylor takeaway.
See, right now, the Cougars are executing. Tank Johnson did a wonderful job of his protection here on the outside because they had a blitz pressure coming from that side and the double clutch and then the concentration enough to bring it on the second bounce and the focus and the eyes to bring it in and to finish intact with the ball in your arm. Now, can they close?
Houston has found some space in the passing game. Oh, double pass, trickery here. Throwback all the way to Chris, who has blockers out in front. Chris escapes. First down and more. Using the entire field into the bag of tricks for the Cougars.
You know, speed kills, but it also, by formation, have got you populated on the far side of the field. You got caught earlier with not enough numbers on there. Certainly you're not going to get caught this time, but hey, we're going back the opposite direction with the ball. Can you get all your bodies over there? It's tough to respond to this. Great trickery. It's working right now. Let's see if they can finish.
So that's why Man Jack doesn't wear gloves. Back inside the red zone for the second time tonight. Turnover the first time for Houston. And Chris has swallowed up Noel. Lassos him for a loss.
Oh, Big Noel does a great job of staying home right there. Now, I will say this, man. Kevin Barbe is doing a wonderful job of painting the field, right? Whether it's trickery or not, going from left to right, making this defense work hard and then using the athleticism and speed against them. They're trying to sort it out, but it's been really tough on this last drive.
And no points in this third quarter yet. 17-7 at half, 17-7 as we get to a half minute left in the third quarter.
Nice.
Chris slings it in there. And down to Sanford to bring up third down.
Rashawn Sanford did a wonderful job with the man coverage route. They leaked him out late, and he's got a linebacker typically in the middle of that defense that he's got to beat. And sometimes you just got to sit it down between 2 defenders. It's not about getting man coverage, because look, down here you're not going to have a lot of free space to run away from anybody. And Willie Fritz knows that. He's about execution. He's admonishing these guys right now to finish strong.
We're going to see everything Baylor and Houston have in this fourth quarter. Baylor can still go to the Big 12 championship. Houston can still go to a bowl. Let's go to the fourth. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. The team's wearing the Houston blue. The students wearing the Houston blue. Trying to will the Cougars into the end zone to start the fourth quarter. With back-to-back wins, Houston can go to a bowl game in year one with Willie Fritz. Chris on the roll. He pumps, he escapes, and he throws incomplete.
He's looking for Manjack back there in the end zone. He paid for it too, took a shot. But again, if you don't have the athleticism that Chris does, you don't even have the second chance to make that play. Watch him make one guy miss. The second guy's coming in and does get a hat on him and pulls off. But at least he's able to get that ball off and have a chance to make a play. Now it's 4th and 4. So they can't get this one on the doorstep here, man. This is 24 yards. They got to get this.
Jack Martin just missed middle of the third quarter from 47. About half that distance here. And this is a one-score game. 2 trips to the red zone tonight for Houston. 3 points out of it, but down just a score. The greatest rivalry in sports is on Big Noon Saturday. Michigan heads to the Shoe to face off against the second-ranked Buckeyes. It's the 120th edition of the game. It starts at 9 a.m. with a special 3-hour Big Noon kickoff live from Columbus. Then Michigan, Ohio State at noon, only on Fox. Michigan got bowl eligible today. Now they'll try to spoil Ohio State's final weekend.
Well, I tell you what, the improvement on that defense for Ohio State has really been impressive over the last years and gotten better.
Jamal Bell brings this out. And Baylor leading by a score. We'll be back on the field right after this. With Spencer Tillman, Connor Onion. Early stage of the fourth quarter. And Baylor has only run 3 plays since halftime.
You talk about a flipping of the script, partner. That's it right there. And Dave Aranda knows game when he sees game. And Sheila Wood, the defensive coordinator, his counterpart, has done a brilliant job of responding to what success Baylor had in that first half.
And it's 3-0 Houston on the scoreboard since halftime. And Robertson throws it away.
Into the boundary, Sheila Wood taking away some of that underneath stuff that was there for the offing. And we haven't seen, Sawyer move very much outside the pocket. He hadn't needed to, but when he does go in a foray out there, you see that area. It's covered up. They've got bodies all over the place over there. And that's to credit of a couple of things, that defensive line, and certainly on the back end, Sheila Wood's design and his scheme.
Spencer, you wonder which version of Sawyer Robertson will we see on this drive? Seen some really good. We've seen some turnovers tonight in this drive. With no momentum yet, Anthony Holmes brings up third down.
Well, we know what version we're going to get of this defensive line right here. You're going to get Anthony Holmes and company. Even when they go games and deal in mid-form, they will pull up so as to not compromise the integrity of what they're trying to do. There's so much discipline going on up front on this defensive front. It is impressive to be sure. Single high safety. They're playing man coverage. Let's see who can win.
Well, they got some movement up front, and that's knocked away. The tight coverage from Carter makes it 4th down. And even with that little flinch up top, Houston got back, stayed onside.
And what's impressive, it was straight man coverage across the board. And when you're asking guys to lock people down, Carter does a wonderful job of his assignment. Again, I think at the end of the day, you trust when you play man coverage against Baylor. One of the hottest offenses, most balanced offenses in the last 3 quarters of this season, the last quarter of the season, has been the Baylor Bears.
Well, you don't usually get too fired up when you have the punter and punt returner out there, but when it's Williams against Muse, one of the best punters in the Big 12 against a game-changing returner, got to be on alert here.
A lot of water here.
Now, Muse has a chance to bring it back. He did wave his hand. Well, he gave the sideways wave. That was enough to stop it. Cooper DeJean would like a word. Zeon Chris got it going, led to a field goal last drive for Houston.
Well, he's been impressive this second half, hadn't he? And when he's had to throw it, we talk about balance. It's basically completing passes when you have to complete passes. And he's done that. He's exploiting the middle of the field, taking advantage of the speed and quickness of Dave Aranda's defense. And then when they had to go to the trick, the bag, it was full. They found Chris opposite that on that throwback to the quarterback, and he made good with it. And then he got underneath and got nifty with some isolation-type plays to his running backs. He's been solid this second half. In contrast, his counterpart, not so much.
Houston's defense has given them a shot. A touchdown to tie it. And pop on the edge from Corey Gordon, putting DJ Butler down after a few.
And Corey came in there that safety position with some intentionality, man.
It was not a pretty picture in the first half, Spence. But since halftime, more yards, more accuracy, no turnovers.
Yeah, and at least they got 3 points, right? Got it on the doorstep. Still hadn't punched it in with the touchdown, but they closed the gap, made it a one-score affair.
Play fake. Time to throw, but not getting away from Keaton Thomas. He plants DJ Butler.
Thomas was there, and of course Gordon was trailing, helping with him. But again, I think the thing that the win for me is, if you're looking at this from an optimistic standpoint, if you're a Cougar fan, you're saying you're stretching the field. You're making this Baylor Bear defense defend the entire breadth and width of the field. And they got to be getting tired as long as they've been on the field in the second half.
Well, Baylor was in a shootout last week in Morgantown. This week, defensive struggle second half with Baylor's defense on the field for a long time. Can they get off on 3rd and 8? Chris extends. He gets it away, incomplete. In the waiting arms of Keaton Thomas, who makes back-to-back plays, and Baylor should get it back here.
Chris has got to be smart, right, and understand that he's got 5 guys to block their 3. It's just a 3-man rush. Willie understands it, but he wants his quarterback to understand it as well. Your chances are not on the edge of the perimeter when you've got 5 guys up front to protect you. Allow that protection to last, and it will. It was just a 3-man front. Chances of you scoring on a Dave Aranda defense and completing it against 8 on the back end, not good.
Doty's had a good night. This one a short one. Oh, why not wait?
Yeah.
Oh, why down that so early? That was taking a Houston roll. So a difference in field position for Baylor. Trying to get this thing rolling again like they did in the first half on offense.
Now, when you're a team like Houston and you just nailed it.
Legal touching at the 24. First down Baylor.
You just nailed it, partner. When that ball is moving like that, unless it gives you a definitive kick backwards, if you guys are young and you're out there, special teams, these types of games have to be won in the margin. And if you're the University of Houston in particular, that third leg called special teams is going to be absolutely huge.
Well, on the 4-game winning streak for Baylor, that's been the guy. Bryson Washington has just 1 carry since the middle of the second quarter. And they give it to him, but they're waiting for him. Anthony Holmes has been real active on the few times that Houston's been on the field in the second half.
And that 1 carry you talked about produced 3 yards so far. And again, that one was just a couple for 2 yards there. And so now they're behind the chains. Is a place they weren't in the first half. Let's see how Houston takes advantage of it, if in fact they can.
Think about some of the scores in the games that Houston pulled off upsets. Kind of in this range.
Sounds like it. It looks just like it, man.
Riding this defense. On 2nd and 8. Robertson complete. First down. Making the turn. It's Hawkins. And he's out around midfield. Staying on his feet. And driving the pile forward. Baylor needed that.
Desperately. It's just a mismatch for Hersey McLaurin, again, number 15. He comes out of that drive route, and it just can't. It doesn't have the athleticism to turn and pivot with a smaller wide receiver. And again, found a nice soft spot. It was kind of like a man under concept where they actually switch it off the zone.
Hawkins had a touchdown in the first half. He has Baylor in plus territory, riding Washington. And now the offense starting to move for Baylor for the first time in this half.
Yep, this looks like the Baylor team that was in control of the first half, at least so far as the ground game was concerned. Let's see if they stay with it. Jake Spavital's spread concept formation is something that can do a lot of different things. Let's see if they can stay on point in the run game.
Washington closing in on 100 yards on the night. He goes over 90 on that carry with a first down.
Well, that's what you want to do. The art of how to close a game. That's what you're seeing right here, an attempt at anyway.
Baylor's drives have been 11 plays, 14 plays for scores tonight. Right on the edge of field goal range for Hankins, who's made from 51 this year. Robertson running out of pressure. Flag came out. Well, that's in the area of holding. Came out right as Robertson got away.
Hold it. Offense number 1. 10-yard penalty. First down.
It's on Trigg.
Well, he gets a mulligan, man, after the big plays he's made tonight. So watch number 1. He's detached on the outside again, and he sees there's going to be problems on that edge. And you know what? If there's ever a case or scenario where you're willing to take that penalty, I take it. Because you're giving a guy a free run at your quarterback who didn't have anything on that side of the field, and his only other option would have been to run it. And you would have had a big old Keith Cooper standing in your face.
That's a big ask,
That's
right?
a big ask, man.
Keith Cooper, the top pass rush guy for Houston, coming at him. Washington up the gut, meets Halsey and takes him for a ride ahead to the 35.
I'll tell you what, they're paying a price for it just physically, but this Baylor Bear team is showing the University of Houston how to close the game. A.J. Halsey's no weak character at that free safety position. It's about 6 foot, 215. He got dinged on that play, too. He came in there with the mean intentions. See all these guys with their hands on their hips. When they're breathing, they're trying to get that deep breath in, man.
I think I said 35 to the 40 on 2nd and 13 for Baylor. And it's Washington. It stopped, and it's 3rd down. Kentrell Webb crashing in off the edge.
Now, this is uncharacteristically a 3rd and long, and so this is one of those plays where let's see what you're going to do if you're Sheil Wood, the defensive coordinator. How are you going to play this? Are you going to be aggressive and force the issue? Are you going to play back with coverage knowing you've got 12 yards to gain, and then trust that defensive front to get pressure? Let's see what he dials up.
Big 3rd down on the edge of field goal range. Play clock inside 5.
They're not going to get this off.
Baylor's got to go.
Nope, they're not going to get it off. Wow, that cost them.
Delay game. Offense. Number 13. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So they'll keep the timeout. Yardage backs him up. 3rd and 17.
That's a major mistake there. So you're 3rd and 17, and Jake Spavital has got to figure out, what do I got a play for you here? I don't think you have a play here, man. Not against this defense. They're too quick, too fast, too dominant up front to ask your offensive line to protect for about 5 seconds against this bunch. That's too much.
What, can they at least get it in the range of Hawkins, who has a big leg and could make this a 2-score game? Houston trying to get it back to their offense, down 7. Swing out for Washington. He's not getting very far. McCutcheon brings him down to bring up 4th down.
What a clutch play by McCutcheon, man. A wonderful job of fending off the guy that was covering him up to make a play and give his offense an opportunity.
So which unit's coming out? It's the punting unit for Baylor. I know Hankins has a big leg, but this would be real ambitious.
That would be a big ask.
So 3 timeouts, half the quarter to go. Houston chasing 7.
You got to be smart and sell this and let it go.
Muse did try to sell it, but great job by the punt unit to down it. Jacob Redding was waiting for it. Great work by Williams. Long field for Houston. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Well, the crowd and their Houston Blues have stuck around. Willie Fritz's team have given them reason to. For 17-7 at the half. The Houston offense trying to embark on an Odyssey-like drive here. 97 yards, 96 yards to get for a game-tying score.
Nice.
Begins on the ground to the outside and out to the 10 with Sanford.
Sanford did a wonderful job of just quick nodding this play to bounce it outside and get some great yards and get them out of that end zone. And that's been a great opportunity for them to kind of get some breathing room.
A lot riding on this drive. Baylor with a win. They'll go into the final weekend. Chance to still go to Arlington for the Big 12 championship game. With chaos around in the Big 12 this week.
We're 2nd and short for them. That's a conflict scenario for defense. You got to pass or run.
And Chris out to the edge. That's complete to Manjack, who makes a move out of bounds.
You know, Manjack, it's good to see that guy get the ball in his hand. He's really was a big contributor to this ball club in the last couple of years, and because of the quarterback situation with Donovan Smith, the labrum surgery, never getting back to full form, he has been kind of marginalized, and the lack of trust that they have in Chris to throw it, he's just been a fraction or a shell of what he was the last couple of years. But he's a spirited player. He's got some talent.
Pressure from Jones. It's picked up. Chris to the sideline. Tip ball. Johnson takes it away. Snacks Johnson, who was on the last team that played in the Big 12 championship game, evens things up for the Baylor defense. They get their takeaway.
And Dave Aranda got exactly what he wanted to. Let's back them up and make them beat themselves. This is the reason why the University of Houston has stayed with the run game so much. And even with the club on the other hand, he's able to come up with the interception. That ball was off target, should have been thrown upfield. There was no one in between the would-be receiver, and that middle safety was about 9 yards away from anybody. So if the ball is just placed accurately inside, where only the receiver could catch it, he's still running. You can't help but feel an overwhelming sense of opportunity lost if you're a Houston Cougar fan. Chance to do something you rarely get a chance to do, to make a dramatic drive for a possible tie.
Well, Pendergrass dives ahead down to the 35.
Now, guys getting a little chippy down there, and again, have no one to blame but themselves for that situation. You got to be great sportsmen and compete.
Well, the defense for Houston had gotten stop after stop in this second half. They had the first down to get out of the shadow of their end zone, and then Snacks Johnson arrived.
Yeah, but every time I see Pendergrass come in the game, it's usually one of those situations where they're trying to salt this thing away. Came in a little bit earlier than he would otherwise. That'd be maybe more of a roster management situation, because they've got so much talent back there, but they're in salt away mode now.
Against a good Houston run defense. Pendergrass fighting for every inch. And here comes a third down. You mentioned getting a little chippy, a little extra down under the pile before this 3rd and 3.
Expected, you know. Guys are competing. I think this is 4-down territory anyway, no matter what. So this is 3rd and 3.
Robertson just gave the close signal.
Oh, he wants it. You know what he wants.
Trying to pick it up. All on this play. They will not. Keith Cooper swallows it up. 4th down. Baylor on offense.
Let's see. Watch Keith Cooper right here. You can see him lined up in outside eye technique, and he blows that thing up and gets in there in the backfield. And with that inside charge, I mean, I'll tell you what, when you get 4 guys that are committed to defend the run like this front 4 is, you're going to more often than not produce positive results.
So a 51-yard try for Hankins, trying to match his season long. And put Dave Aranda and Baylor up by 2 scores.
They got it.
And Hankins absolutely drills it. The takeaway from Lorando Johnson leads to 3 points, 2-score lead for Baylor. Well, Baylor fans sighing after that Hankins field goal, because their offense has barely seen the field. It's been a grind in the second half, but here they are up 10, chance to close it.
Well, the thing about it is, you know, there are going to be some tough ones, and against a team that had their back up against the wall. Remember now, Houston still had a chance if they ran the table to get bowl eligible. So it was a maximum motivation scenario that the challenge was met by Dave Aranda's stop unit and their offense, and now they're in protect mode.
And a Houston offense that is not known for explosive plays trying to come back. They do have an explosive returner. Mekhi Muse has returned a punt on the year. He breaks into the second level of the return, and the ball comes out at the end of the return. Baylor pointing their way.
Yeah, but it's going to be Baylor ball.
They do have it. LeVar Thornton recovers.
It's a fumble. Covered by Baylor. First down.
And nothing will suck the life out of a unit than turning the ball over on your side of the field, particularly when you know your offense has been struggling. You knew it was going to be an uphill challenge anyway for them to push the ball down the field. And Willie Fritz is frustrated, but he understands where he is. And Thornton's the guy who recovered it. Amazing.
Josh White punched it out. LeVar Thornton recovers it. And from a drive that was starting to move for Houston to a pick, a field goal, and another takeaway. And now Baylor into their 4-minute offense.
Heavy dose of Washington and Pendergrass now. Washington
already over 100 yards on the night. He twists across the 40. Add 4 more to the total for Washington.
First charge, time out of the half. Houston, 30 seconds.
So Houston will have 2 more timeouts plus the 2-minute timeout, chasing 10 points.
You know, in a typical game, if you're Dave Aranda, there'd be a little bit more angst if you knew that Houston's offense was capable of leveraging those timeouts. But to this point, nor have they any portion of this season has Willie Fritz's offense been able to come back in a manner that it would take in this situation. So you're not scared to death. And so you can stick with your plans and just continue to run the football.
Well, we came into the day with 9 teams alive for the Big 12 championship game. Arizona State beat BYU with a field storming. Colorado lost to Kansas. Iowa State winning right now against Utah. Kansas State also winning. So if all the scores hold right now as they are, we'll go into the final weekend on Thanksgiving weekend with 9 teams still alive.
That's exactly what you want in this conference, man. Makes it competitive, keeps hope alive, and eyeballs watching.
Well, Houston's hanging on the fact that they could win out and go to a bowl game, but they got to get real busy in the final 4 minutes of this one.
No question.
Second charge, time out of the half. Houston, 30 seconds.
So it comes down to a 3rd and 6 after this timeout. Friday night on Fox, Big 12 regular season finale in primetime. Utah against one of the nation's best running backs, R.J. Harvey, and UCF. Begins at 8 Eastern, only on Fox.
So the question now, partner, is does Keith Cooper, Carlos Allen, Anthony Holmes, Brandon Mack have one more stop in them on a 3rd and 6? In all likelihood, Baylor's going to run this ball, and Dave Aranda is going to try to salt it away, but he's needing 6 yards to do it. Otherwise, Houston may get one more opportunity.
Well, Baylor's offense has not been out there a lot in the second half. Do they trust Robertson to throw it? They do not. And they'll force Houston to use that last timeout.
Final charge, time out of the half. Houston, 30 seconds.
So 4 minutes even. No timeouts left in the tank for Houston. The only stoppage will be the 2-minute timeout.
You know, Connor, what I absolutely love about what Willie Fritz is doing here, he played this game and the cards and the decisions as if he does have a capable offense that he knows can go down and throw the ball and air it out. He's coaching it just like he would, and I just absolutely love the mindset and the attitude. It leaves you a heck of a lot to coach with down the road instead of just folding. I mean, those timeouts aren't going anywhere. You got to burn them. He's playing the game, man. I love this.
Well, interesting for Baylor, too, the decision here, because 54-yard field goal try from here, not worth getting it blocked.
Even if you
score a game either way.
Absolutely. But even if you don't respect their offense, you're going to give them a short field if you don't make it. This is maybe trying to draw them off sides here.
Well, they do snap it. Robertson zings it in there. Well, Cameron stays down.
Yeah, Cameron took a headshot there, and that's unfortunate.
Whirling on the field is a first down. Injury timeout.
So Cameron caught it. It is a first down. Halsey hit him, and Cameron with his helmet off.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think this is going to be a shot to the head, and that forearm Hit him right across the side of the head, and it definitely, yeah, he took a nice shot there. He shook it off and held onto the ball. Good to see him up and walking.
Previous play is under further review for targeting.
Well, they're going to see that it's a forearm, it looked like to me. Yeah. So here's another look at it. AJ's coming from depth, and that right shoulder, that right forearm hits him across the side of the helmet.
Let's get Mike Pereira's thoughts on this one.
Yeah, here's what we're looking at here is you're looking at a defenseless player. He's still in the act of trying to make the catch, and so therefore he gets protection to the head or neck area from contact with the helmet, shoulder, forearm. So is he attacking? Is he attacking with the forearm? You know, I have to say.
After further review, there is no targeting. Still a first down from Baylor.
That I think there is contact to the head or neck area. A little bit surprised that they would not add this on. You know, to me it falls into that category of forcible contact to the head or neck with the forearm.
I agree with Mike on that. It wasn't necessarily egregious in terms of following through with it, but that forearm clearly came across the side of the helmet of Thornton as he was down. Cameron.
Well, that's important for Houston if they do find a way to come back. Halsey doesn't have to sit out the first half of next week trying to play for a bowl game if they do win. But that first down shrinks the game considerably.
And you burn your timeout. So, again, trying to manage the game, hoping for a miracle outcome, that makes it really difficult.
Houston will have the 2-minute timeout. So we hit 3.5 minutes left. It's Washington grinding out a run between the tackles. He got 4.
Well, trying to manage the game, Fritz basically burned the other timeout. Like you said, you've got your 2 minutes left. But if Baylor can get a timeout, or rather get a first down, and with no timeouts, Houston is in a pickle. And Washington, their guy that can put them out, and Pendergrass can also close out a game. Both of them are sure-handed. Dave Aranda's in a great spot right now.
What a story this is. From 0-3, tremendous job pressure, to a 4-game winning streak and chance for even more for Baylor. They can win and get some help next week. Here comes third down. Well, that was blown dead before the finish of the run. So third down coming up, and Baylor doesn't have to snap it again before the 2-minute timeout. Kansas next week. That's all that's left. Kansas has been the spoiler for a few teams in the Big 12. Playing really well after the win against Colorado earlier today.
Yeah, what a great job Dave Aranda has done. And again, you touched upon something, the reset and how he got refocused. And we had a nice candid conversation about that. And he was concerned about, he used the term Darth Vader, you know, becoming Vader. But his players, to a person, told me that they were excited.
The final 2 minutes, Baylor trying to win their 5th straight game in really good position ahead of this third down to go from 0-3 in the Big 12 to final weekend meaningful football. We've already clinched a bowl eligibility win last week, so they'll be in the postseason, but will they be in the Big 12 championship game?
I'll tell you what, that'd be a massive leap if in fact they did. Dave Aranda's had the charge. Mac Rose, the AD, says, I want to see progress after the 3-9 season finish last year. And I'd say to turn it around to this point right now where you're even in the discussion to play for Big 12 championships is quite the turnaround. So he's got the financial support. He's got the commitment from the administration, and they're in a good spot right now.
You just wonder, Spence, if that Hail Mary at the end of the Colorado regulation didn't happen. Be sitting on 2 losses right now. Maybe those 2 games that followed, they don't lose that. Here's a 4th and 4. That's intercepted. Oh no, Halsey with the interception, and Houston has a chance.
The last thing in the world, Connor, I thought that they would do it, even attempt to pass in this situation.
Well, it was 4th down, so if they didn't get it, Houston was getting the ball anyway.
But I mean, I think at this point, we just talked about how the landscape of the game is so flat. This is a world of image and impression, and you don't want that number to be lower than it typically has to be. You want to show that you were in control of the game, and people are going to have short memories. They're going to forget what the detail was. When that committee sits down and at the end of the year, man, they're looking at all of these things.
Halsey got clipped by Bryson Washington, the running back. Came in and made the tackle.
That's one of their top players. They can ill afford to lose him. And Halsey's been physical tonight. He always has been physical. He's getting up. Looks like he's a tough character, man. Great player. It's a football player right there.
It came after his team leading 5th pick of the year. And we've seen 3 turnovers each side.
Yeah, 87% of the time, if you're trailing by 2 or more in the turnover category, you're going to lose those matches. University of Houston came out with intentionality and showed that they're capable of doing. That's been the formula, right? It's been the formula for them in their upset wins over TCU, Kansas State. When they lead in the turnover category, they walk away, despite the fact of not having a juggernaut offense. They walk away with W's.
Can they turn that thought around and hit some big plays? First one of this drive goes for a 1st down to Frederick. And the clock stops with the 1st down, but no timeouts for Houston.
Well, they burned all of those, and we're since passing the hip pocket of the 2-minute. But let's see how efficient they can become with a quarterback everybody knows is a runner first.
Inside a minute, Chris ducks out of pressure, and that's juggled and caught by Muse. Might have been better just letting that fall incomplete.
That's right.
Now the clock's running.
Yeah, Matt Jones was right there waiting for him. And see, that's the problem. You're reduced to shallow crossing routes underneath with 34 seconds left on the clock.
That last sequence took about a half-minute off the clock. That is caught and out of bounds.
Now, see, I like that play. That was a back shoulder to your back, but it's a back shoulder stop. You're throwing it at a point, and Willie's still coaching, man. I really like the attitude. Throwing it to a point and asking your guys to get 10 yards and then turn around.
Sanford got out of bounds, but 15 seconds to go. Chris dancing. That's the middle of the field, and that will do it. Devin Lemire sends Baylor into the final weekend with a chance for the championship.
Well, there you have it, folks. And again, it's the reason why this team has struggled. The turnovers, too much to overcome at home at TDECU Stadium tonight for the Cougars of Houston. You can see walking off his back foot, pressure in his face. Dave Aranda's always going to bring pressure. And once again, an ill-advised pass thrown off the mark, not having the accuracy needed to extend the drive. And Lemire made him pay for it.
The first pick of the year for Lemire, one to remember for him on a night where the Baylor defense stood up real tall.
Well,
second half.
NC State great Torrey Holt coined the phrase big plays, big days. And Lemire just made it to extend this win streak to 5. And I'll tell you, Baylor's been impressive, and so is that guy right there, Dave Aranda.
Well, Baylor got help today throughout the Big 12. They helped themselves. They have 7 wins. This is a real great comeback story after 0-3. For Connor Onion, Spencer Tillman, send you back to the LA studios for more college football coverage.
Brendan Lewis getting ready to go for the Pack. Nevada, Mountain West action against Air Force, accounted for 2+ touchdowns in 8 of his 10 games this season. See how they can finish the season strong. Coming up, as we welcome you to the FS1 College Football Extra, sponsored by Defender. It's Mike Hill, Emmanuel Acho, Coach Chris Peterson hanging out with you. Saw Baylor get the big win over Houston 20-10, and you heard the announcers talking about that. It's a lot of what ifs in this game. What if that Hail Mary hadn't worked for Colorado? Baylor's now won 5 in a row. An amazing job that Dave Aranda has done to keep his team in the mix in the Big 12.
Every time a Big 12 game comes on and it's just crazy what's going on in this league. Like, you can't predict anything, this being one of the stories. Dave Aranda has done a great job starting out on a losing streak and then winning the last 5. He had to make some hard decisions, move on from some staff members, which that is crushing and hard to do. And now, had Colorado not hit that Hail Mary on, they'd be sitting there at 6-2 and right in the middle of it. But nevertheless, bowl eligible, going to play in a good bowl game, and the ship is right.
And they're still in the mix in the Big 12 right now with all the craziness that's going on.
Even bigger than that, though, it's good to see them rattle off these wins, especially as you're trying to build momentum in the end of the season. I don't think Baylor was ever as bad as we thought. They faced some good opponents while those opponents were really good. You faced a healthy Utah team. You faced a hot Colorado team. You faced a streaking BYU team. You faced a competent Iowa State team. And now they've rallied off some wins against very winnable opponents. Shout out to Baylor for what they've been doing.
Hey, they finished the season against Kansas, which might not be a good thing.
Well, that's what we think, but just wait.
Exactly right.
Kansas, we'll show you what Kansas is able to do against Colorado coming up. But time now for our Land Rover Defender highlights, starting off with Iowa State and Utah. Iowa State over on Fox right now, and Iowa State down 3-0 early in this one. Rocco Beck, though, bringing his guys back.
Right now, Mike, it's all about storylines as you were watching these games at home. Iowa State desperately needs to win this game in order to stay in contention for the Big 12 championship game. They gave Utah a chance early on, but Iowa State's really trying to keep it in control.
Carson Hansen right there. Yeah, special teams and the pick 6 keeping them in this game. Number 16, Colorado, Kansas. Talked about Kansas earlier. This was the Devin Neal show.
Hottest team in the Big 12, and I'm not talking about Colorado.
Not at all. Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter right here hooking up. So Hunter not hurting his Heisman chances here, but Neal and the Kansas rushing game, the story, they had over 300 rushing yards. Neal had over 200. He had 4 touchdowns in this game. Oh, prime. They control their own destiny no more. Here he is after the game.
We start smelling ourselves a little bit. That's what I just told our team. We got intoxicated with the success. We got intoxicated with the multitude of articles and the assumption that we're this and the assumption that we're that. And we did not play CU football. Therefore, we got our butts kicked. We control our own destiny, and we fumbled.
They fumbled. Hey, how about this finish between BYU and ASU? Under 10 seconds left, Arizona State up 5, 4th down, trying to just round the clock. Sam Levitt heaves it out of bounds. Letting the clock expire. Fans, they think the game's over. Storm the field. Come on after it. But you know what? Let's review this and see if it landed before the clock struck 0. And no, they found out 1 second was added on the clock. Kenny Dillingham losing his mind. Okay, so we're going to put 1 more second on the clock. But we got to get the fans off the field. We got to put the goalposts back up, and we're going to put BYU on offense at the 50. Let's see what happens here. Okay, here's Reslov throwing it deep. Goes, it's inside the 5. Chase Roberts catches it. Down to the 2. Arizona State holds on 28-23. Here's Kenny Dillingham after the game.
We won the football game. We beat another ranked team in in Mountain America Stadium, right? And this is all about the guys. I mean, these guys battled, these guys fought, these guys found a way to win, and it doesn't matter whatever happened at the end, it happened. You know what? We got to rush the field twice. How about that? We rushed the field 3 times this year. That's pretty cool. Not many people get the opportunity to do that. Come to Arizona State, because there's going to be a lot more of that coming forward.
How crazy is it in the Big 12 right now?
Absolutely nuts.
Dillingham losing his mind on the field, happy afterwards.
That's what I'm laughing at. He is a crazed man, and then 3 minutes later, he's happy Sky America.
Because his team right now on top of the Big 12 with the win against BYU. Colorado still in the mix. 4 teams right there. Still in the mix. Iowa State look like they're going to win, so they're going to go to 6-2, it appears. But other teams are still in there right now. I mean, look, wow. That last play, though, let's go back to that. Dillingham was obviously upset. They throw the ball out of bounds, 1 second on the clock. Should there have been intentional grounding, which would have put BYU in a better position for that Hail Mary?
I think so. Really, that play is called sprint right, chuck it. Everybody has it in their playbook. Quarterback takes the ball, sprints to the right to buy time, right-handed quarterbacks. Problem was they're on the right hash, and he did not sprint right. Okay, so he throws it too soon, doesn't take enough time off the clock. So 1, that should be intentional grounding right there. 2, hits the ground too soon with 1 second. So that should have been a penalty. So there were some execution things, but it all worked out for the Sun Devils because Kenny Dillingham is a great orator and arguer.
This is utter chaos. I've never experienced anything like that as an athlete before because when the game ends emotionally, you're just like, we lost if you're BYU. Then they're telling you you got 1 more second left. You're trying to get amped up and hyped up to play, but then there's the whole stadium on the field. You got to clear that out. Utter chaos, sheer chaos at the end of the game. Congrats to ASU on the victory.
If you want some good sound, some good video, go to X and just look for the Kenny Dillingham raw, uncut emotion on the field, screaming at the referees.
I'm a lip reader, so I got it all. My eyes are hurting.
You know what he had. He was happy after the game. You saw he wasn't happy during the game when they put that 1 second back on the clock. But let's talk about the Big 12 as a whole right now, man. It's a big mumbo-jumbo mess right now. But what team do you feel like is the best team in the Big 12 right now?
The more important word for me is what team is the hottest team. As you get to the end of November, it's no longer about the best. It's about who is the hottest that is currently still in the running. Arizona State. Arizona State, they've knocked off BYU. Arizona State, they look like they're streaking. Meanwhile, Colorado got bludgeoned by Kansas. BYU lost to Kansas, and they lost to Arizona State. Iowa State 2 weeks ago, they took a loss. Arizona State, to me right now, they are the hottest of the competitive teams going in right now, Coach?
Well, I think the word is competitive teams because I think the hottest team is Kansas.
Yeah, Baylor's up there too. Baylor's won 5 in a row. Yeah.
I mean, both those teams, certainly Kansas started too late, but that's the thing and that's the lesson in all this. November football is crazy.
Yeah.
There's just so much things that happen. I've just seen it for year after year. And even though we got another week left and then championship game, things are going to shuffle again in terms that are going to affect this playoff. And so, I mean, I think it is ASU's the hottest team going forward, but who knows what happens?
We know who's in the championship, one of the teams in the championship game in the ACC. We know who's in one of the teams in the championship game in the Big Ten. Still got to figure out the SEC. Still got to figure out the Big 12. It's going to come down to the final weekend, and we got 2 huge Big 12 matchups on Fox next weekend. First, Arizona State in the mix, takes on Arizona at 3:30 Eastern. Then at 7:30, Kansas State still in the mix, and Iowa State as well. They battle one another. You can catch all the action next Saturday on Fox. Notre Dame pretty much trying to punch its ticket, trying to end Army's hopes in their undefeated season.
They're punching Army right in the mouth first before they punch their ticket.
You know Jeremiah Love's going to find the end zone. Does right there, 6-yard touchdown. This is all Notre Dame in this game. Notre Dame has USC to end the season, 49-7. They're rolling right now. Boise State, Wyoming. Boise State is in right now, but they got to win pretty much every ball game. Ashton Jeanty doing what he does.
Doing what he does best. 61-yard touchdown run early on in the game. If you're Wyoming, you were scared when you saw the film. Now you see it in real time.
And but hey, Wyoming right there. Caden Anderson, Justin Stevenson.
This is a really hard place to play. Going at Wyoming, 7,200 altitude feet.
Jeanty went down with a minor injury earlier, but here he is picking up 15 yards, setting this up. Jam Dubar. Up the middle, 2-yard touchdown. Broncos, it's just a 17-13 lead right now. That game in the fourth quarter play. Thanksgiving weekend, you can be sure to catch Ashton Jeanty, the Heisman candidate, and Boise State in action. The game is on Fox as the 12th-ranked Broncos host Oregon State. Coverage begins Friday at noon Eastern time. Alabama, because Missouri won earlier today over Mississippi State, they went out. They go to the SEC championship game, but Oklahoma's like, not so fast.
Yeah, I don't think Oklahoma got the memo.
I don't think Alabama saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming. You're talking about Oklahoma's won 1 SEC game all year. Jalen Milroe and the boys just being shut down.
He tried to trip him?
He tried to trip him. 24-3. We're going into the fourth quarter. Oklahoma on top of Alabama. They play Auburn next week. Auburn's got Texas A&M, and Auburn went up big on the Aggies. Peyton Thorne, Cam Coleman.
Strike.
That is beautiful football right there.
They were down, 21-0? But they came back, Texas A&M did. Marcel Reed to Noah Thomas. And guess what? We're tied at 21.
Wow. He threaded. That is the definition right there of threading the needle.
But guess what, Auburn? Coming back, Jarquez Hunter on the goal line. He's going to get it. He's going to score. Tigers on top, 28-21. Wow. Woo. Upsets all over the place. Except in Texas.
You already know we're going to handle our business now, Mike. We're going to handle our business.
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions on the day. He had a fairly clean day, I believe 19-31 from the pocket, if you will. finding Gunnar Helm, who's really become his best friend as a receiving target this season.
Yeah, Texas got the Aggies next week. They took care of business 31-14 today. A big upset here. Florida, Ole Miss, 9th-ranked team in the country. Florida, Montrell Johnson Jr. finding the end zone. Lane Kiffin's not happy because Florida's up 24-17 because his quarterback, Jackson Dart, who was good pretty much all game, but the final 2 possessions, 2 costly picks. Picked off by Bryce Thornton. Gators win it 24-17. Gators playoff hopes probably dashed after the game. Here's Lane.
I ain't got to tomorrow yet. You know, there's a lot at stake here and a lot of disappointed players, coaches in that locker room. And this is the new age setup, you know, when kind of there's the playoff line, you kind of know where that is a little bit, and third loss doesn't get you there.
Meanwhile, Penn State trying to avoid the upset against Minnesota, but down by 6 here in the third. Nick Singleton finds the end zone. They're up 23-22.
This was a scrap now. Minnesota showed up to play.
Coach, would you have this courage right
Mike,
here?
you already know I would. Sitting in this chair right here, I'd call it. This was the call of the day, and Penn State deserves to win calling that in that situation.
Fake punt on 4th and 1 in a 1-point game, 32 yards by Luke Reynolds. They run out the clock. They get the job done. So did Ohio State against number 5 Indiana. Was supposed to be the game of the day, but Ohio State just showed they got too many dudes.
Will Howard actually played my favorite game of his in his tenure at Ohio State. He put the team on his back to some degree along special teams.
Indiana, they scored first, but then Ohio State scored 31 unanswered. Special teams really hurt Indiana in this game. They had they fumbled a punt on the snap, and then on this kickoff right here, the punt return, I should say, by Caleb Downs, taking it back to the house, 79 yards. Buckeyes win it 38-15 as we get more from Columbus. Here's Rob Stone and the Big Noon Kickoff crew. Google me.
After falling behind 7-0, the Buckeyes rattle off 31 straight points en route to a comfortable win. They get a victory next Saturday over Michigan. They are back in the Big Ten championship game. What did you see from their red zone offense today?
Well, I saw it, and we made a point in the playbook. The team that is successful in the red zone and goal line, that's going to win the game. And remember, when you get to the red zone inside the 5-yard line, it's pass-fail grade. Kicking a field goal is a minus, you fail. Scoring a touchdown, you win. And they were 4 or 5 after the first one. I still don't understand why they try to drive it in. There were 22 people around the ball. But they spaced it out, made some plays, threw the ball, and ran the edges. And they were 4 out of 5 in the red zone.
Will Howard, incredibly efficient, 21 for 25, almost 200 yards, a couple touchdowns. Really controlled the game there. You love to see that. The offensive line was a concern. We were kind of curious to see how that would play out. I thought they did a really good job, rushed for over 100 yards.
I thought the pressure package that Ohio State brought to the game, it was too much for Indiana to handle. They had 5 sacks, they had 10 multiple quarterback hurries, and they just had Curtis Rourke under duress all day today.
And for Indiana, guys, they had a chance to prove the doubters wrong today. They didn't get the job done. Now the real question is going to be how far do they fall in the playoff ranking. Still a really good football team, but let's see what the committee thinks.
Need some help.
Michigan week begins right now. 1,820 days since the Buckeyes last beat the team up north. We've got it live for you next Saturday on Fox.
And that game couldn't be bigger because Ohio State would have win against Michigan. Of course, they have lost the last 3 against their rivals. Gets them into the Big Ten championship game against Oregon. Meanwhile, Indiana, chances of getting in slim right now. They need help in a win next week. But Curt Cignetti thinks, hey, we're in the playoffs at least.
You said earlier that you don't make the decision about who's in the playoff, but do you think going into this last week that you should be one of the 12 teams that's in the playoff based on your body of work to this point?
Is that a serious question? I'm not even going to answer that one. The answer's so obvious.
Look, they had an undefeated season, an amazing year, but they have not beaten a ranked team this year, right? They only played one ranked team. They only played 2 teams with a winning record this year going in, and they get blown out on the road against Ohio State in their first true test. Do you agree with Curt Cignetti, I should say?
Yeah. I really love Ohio State. I think they could, and probably are, the best team in the country. I mean, right, they're peaking. I like Indiana a lot. I do agree with Curt Cignetti. I think that they got hit in the mouth. Game got away from them. Tough turf they're playing on. But I think they're going to learn a bunch. They clean up that punt team. They haven't been challenged. Let's not forget Indiana has won the games by average of 30 points. No one has really challenged them until last week. Michigan made it fairly close. So, okay, best way to learn is to take a hard loss. They're going to regroup. I do think they're one of the better teams in the country.
Yep.
Come on, Arch.
They
what
got
do you
Purdue
got?
next week.
There is a difference in life between a great story and a great team.
Okay.
Indiana, phenomenal story. Phenomenal story. Good team, not an elite team. Great story, not a great team. No, I don't think they're one of the 12 best teams in football. No, I mean, they didn't look like they belonged on the same field. Now, for the first possession, absolutely did. For the first 2 possessions, while the plays were scripted, y'all at home, y'all are intelligent. Y'all know the first 15 plays are scripted. Ohio State's defense was trying to figure things out. 4-man rushes, man-to-man coverage on the back end. Indiana was great. As soon as coaching got involved and schematics got involved and plays got involved and special teams got involved, 31 unanswered points, no contest.
They're punting on 4th down. So it's a 7-7 ball game.
Yeah.
Snap goes right through the punter's
No doubt about
hands.
it.
James Evans. Damn. Right? 14-7 right before the half, right? And then the punt return.
Yeah.
Caleb. Other than that, Indiana's in this game. Indiana's defense plays very well. And let me tell you this. All right, so maybe you don't think they deserve to be in the playoffs, but they'll probably get in because Ole Miss lost today.
Sure.
Alabama looks like they're about to lose. So if Indiana finishes, which they should finish, with an 11-1 record, they should beat Purdue next week. Purdue's lost pretty much every game this year. You don't think Indiana's going to get into the playoffs?
Mike, how long have we been sitting at work today?
Long enough.
Long enough, about 7-8 hours. We've watched the whole landscape of college football. If Indiana was playing the Big 12 schedule as normal, they'd have 2 losses like everybody else. They'd be right there with Iowa State.
You think the Big 12, you think Big 10 is a weaker conference than the Big 12?
I think it's harder than Indiana's schedule. I'm not talking about the conference.
Okay.
Indiana didn't see Oregon. Indiana didn't see Penn State, and they saw Ohio State and gave up 31 unanswered points. So Indiana's a good football team, but if you're talking about a top 12 football team, I think Indiana would be a 2 or 3 loss team if they had to face the schedule that everybody else had to face, Coach.
I don't even know what to say. I think Indiana is really good. I think they had 2 issues. That punt team, and they had protection issues.
Of course.
And it wasn't like the guys up front for Indiana not holding up. They just misidentified things. The back was not blocking the right guys. They had free hitters, and they didn't need to have that. Jim Knowles did a great job. I don't know if it's something they hadn't seen, but they just stormed the castle.
But here's the thing that what I used to hate more than anything is when you go into meetings the day after a game and your coach trying to make you feel better says, fellas, if we don't give up those 2 80-yard runs, they would have only had 30-yard rushing. Well, Coach, we gave up 2 80-yard runs, so they had 200 yards rushing. You can't take away the punt return for a touchdown. Ohio State put 9 4-star and above players on their punt return unit. Indiana had 11 3-star or below players on their punt return unit.
Right.
Special teams count. So we can't sit here and say, well, if they don't get a punt return for a touchdown, because next game it might be a kick return for a touchdown. Now, I don't think the punter for Indiana would have dropped the kick, but this wasn't a 1-possession game. This was a 3.5 possession game. Indiana Iowa mopped the floor with them dudes.
I'm kind of inclined to believe you, but Indiana had been beating their opponents, even though they had a weak schedule, by 30 points a game. They played pretty much the best team in the nation. I know they lost against Oregon, but Ohio State looks like the best team in the nation. This is their 4th top 5 game this year, right? 3rd top 5 game this year. They've won 2 of the 3 of those games there. But do they have the best defense in the nation right now, the way they're playing?
Ohio State?
Ohio State.
They have a really, really good, top 5 defense.
Are they the best team? Although Oregon's number 1, are they better than Oregon right now on a neutral field?
Because, you added that on a neutral field point.
Well, that's right.
Because Oregon beat them, Oregon is better than Ohio State.
Okay, but I'm talking about right now. If you were to put Ohio State and Oregon on the field, the way Ohio State's playing right now.
Oregon beat them. And Oregon beat them. Oregon beat, you know what I mean?
My last question to you. You're telling me that Indiana is not one of the 12 best teams in the country?
Coach,
they might not be one of the top.
I do not think Ohio State is scoring 31 unanswered points on the 11 next best teams in college football. I don't think they're scoring 31.
Ohio State could be just that good. Like you said, too many
31 is a lot of points. That's a lot of points to not answer.
We've all been in those games where it just gets away from us.
That's very true. That's very true.
And then it's like over.
That's very true.
And I think this is one of these.
As good as Ohio State played today, next week matters.
It does.
They might still get to the playoffs, but they lose to Michigan. Ryan Day is going because Michigan's won 3 straight against them. Wolverines' offense exploded today for 50 points. We got highlights of that one coming up. Still, coverage begins next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern with Big Noon kickoff live from Columbus. So that should be a big game for the game. Air Force ready to roll, flying high over the Wild Blue yonder. Leads the team in scrimmage yards and TDs this season. Their wide receiver ready to go against Nevada. Hasn't been the best season for Nevada, 0-5 in the conference, just 3-8 overall. Jeff Chopin's first season there, trying to get things on the right track against Air Force, bottom dwellers in the conference going head-to-head. Hey, update. Right, Utah State, San Diego State, I should say. Play of the day under 20 seconds left in the second quarter. Utah State down 13-7. Bryson Barnes fake the spike. Grant Page, what an amazing catch right here.
Oh my gosh, and look at it again, right foot down. Wow.
Nicely done. Utah State wins it 41-20. Hey, update here. Utah and Iowa State. Whoa. Iowa State up 24-21. Michael Bernard, direct snap, and Utah now up 28-24. That game late in the fourth quarter. Remember, Iowa State still in the mix. Boise State up by 4 late. Last play of the game, Wyoming with a deep pass. Knocked down by the Broncos, so they hold on for a 17-13 win. Now on a 10-1 record, 7-0 in the conference. So congratulations, Ashton Genty and the boys. Boise State, they clinch a spot in the Mountain West title game and in line to host the game on Friday, December 6th. That game is on Fox. Meanwhile, 8th-ranked Miami controls its own destiny. 2 more wins, and they'll be in the ACC championship game today. The U hosted Wake Forest. Talk about the U, we talking about Cam Ward.
It's all about the U. Cam Ward today got Miami its 10th win for the first time since 2017. Also broke one of Bernie Kosar's University of Miami passing records. Cam Ward putting the team on his back, and the defense helping solidify it right there. Michelle Powell.
Yeah, 77-yard pick six. Miami wins 42-14. Once again, they beat FSU. Next week, they are in the ACC championship game where they will face SMU. Got the win against Virginia today, and they clinched their spot. Kevin Jennings, look at that strike. DeMucci Dixon. Mustangs up 14-0. Jennings, Matthew Hibner, 16 yards. Celebrating in Dallas, 33-7. They're in the ACC title game once again. Crazy finish, Illinois Rutgers, 14 seconds left, 4th and 13. Rutgers down by 1. Ethan Machowski, 58-yard field goal for the win. Misses wide left. But guess what? Rutgers' Greg Schiano called a timeout. So let's go for it. Let's just go for it. Luke Altmaier, Pat Bryant, first down at least. Okay, maybe set up for the field goal. Oh, no. Let's get into the end zone.
Pat Bryant win the game.
40-yard touchdown with 4 seconds left. Illinois wins 38-31. Wisconsin, Nebraska. Nebraska needs a win to become bowl eligible for the first time since 2016, and they got it. Dylan Raiola, Jamal Banks, look at that pass.
That's beautiful. That might be the second best throw and catch of the day.
Got that foot down. Nebraska going bowling, 44-25. Northwestern, Michigan, where'd this offense come from today?
They're getting ready for the game next week, Mike.
I thought they had their quarterback of the future next year.
Not as suited today.
Nah, he felt pressure.
Davis Warren stepping up. Khalil Mullins doing what he always does. Michigan, 6th win of the season, 50-6. But once again, you know what it is. Fox got the game. Ohio State, Michigan, college football's most intense rivalry. Coverage starts next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern with a special 3-hour edition of Big Noon Kickoff live from Columbus. Clemson, is this a Venmo game?
It's one of them ones.
The Citadel?
Venmo bank account game.
Yeah, it's a cash app. Just run me my money and we're going to run you this L.
Show me my money. Kay Klubnik, give me my money. Kay Klubnik making some money. Brian Westcott, are they storming the field?
They do it every time.
Okay, okay, 51-42. Okay. Stanford, Cal, Aaron Rodgers, your boy Deshaun Jackson.
D-Jag in the building.
The Cal people there off the trick play. Michael Ford, Emmett Mosley the 5th on 4th and goal. Stanford up 21-7. Oh, is Cal about to go bowling? Fernando Mendoza, Jonathan Brady, yes, sir. Cal's had a pretty good season, man. 6-5, 24-21 winners right there. Nebraska, Mississippi State, Missouri, I should say, Mississippi State. Michael Van Buren strip sacked by Christian Williams, Dalen Carnell.
And this is what Alabama needed to happen to get some help. Missouri to win one of these games. They took care of business.
But the Tide boo-booed the bed. Mizzou wins 39-20. Number 10, Georgia, UMass. This is a Cash App game. Carson Beck.
Ooh, that's a big money ball, though, right there. Great throw.
Not talking about it.
Beck not throwing interceptions in this one against that tough UMass defense. Arian Smith, 34-yard touchdown, 4 touchdown passes on the day.
UMass defense.
59-21, the final. So this is the Zell game for Tennessee against UTEP. Nico Yamaleva, Squirrel White, 9-yard touchdown. Coach, you love these pretty, end of season warm-up games.
Not a fan.
SEC has a tough schedule. They need a little bit of a break. Tennessee wins it 56-0 as we take a look at the 12-team bracket. This is going to change drastically.
Yes, sir, it is.
Ole Miss lost. Indiana lost. BYU lost. Alabama's about to lose. About to lose. I said about to lose.
It sounded better that way, Mike.
About to lose. That's how they say it in Alabama. They about to lose. They about to lose. I don't know who's going to be in the playoffs now. They about to lose. They about to lose. Who's the most intriguing potential player? It's late, man. Potential playoff team for you.
Well, I think the one that nobody's talking about is SMU. I think these guys are just in a really good spot because they're laying in the weeds. Nobody's really talking about them much at all. They've lost one game, a 3-point loss early in the season to BYU, who at the time was really rolling. And SMU is on an 8-0 run since Kevin Jennings has become their quarterback. These guys are rolling. They're playing good defense. I think they're super intriguing.
For me, it's simple, Coach. It's Notre Dame. Because of the ambiguity of their schedule, they don't have a lot of common opponents with some of the teams we're familiar with. So I just don't know how great Notre Dame is. I know they're good, but remember, they lost to NIU early on, Northern Illinois, but they have a top 3 win of the season going to College Station and beating A&M. But that was in week 1. So Notre Dame, I know they're good. I just don't know how good.
I really like that point. And I do not like Notre Dame. The only thing I don't like about Notre Dame is the fact they don't play in a conference.
I'm with you, Coach.
You just can't tell anything about them. They look really good, but I sure wish they were in a conference.
They can't get a top 4 seed because of they play USC next week. Hey, it's time to get you out to the Air Force and Nevada game. The guys calling it Trent Rush. Petros Papadakis, take it away, fellas.
The Laos.
Well, thanks, Mike. We're ready for a Mountain West showdown in the biggest little city in the world, Reno.